Madness Podcast, the best of the underground. Make madness your ritual.
What the fuck are you people doing? Ritual Madness Podcast. I hope you guys are having a good time. This is 2017 up in this bitch. Did you think you'd make it this far? I sure the fuck didn't think you were going to make it this far, that is. This Ritual Madness Podcast. You're listening to episode 148. Failing to Wake, right? I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be the first band that I butchered their name on the air like an asshole. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, there's a multitude of links that you can connect with us on. Stitcher and iTunes, both podcast applications for your space phones. iTunes is obviously the Apple selective for them. Stitcher works for both Android and Apple. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I have told you many times since this podcast has been going on that I am so far behind with the YouTube shit, but it just frustrates me so much that they have to cut all the music and think you're trying to make money off of other people's music when you're just trying to spread the love of good music to other fucking metalheads. So fuck YouTube, but I'm still going to put up some videos. So keep checking back. I will put some shit up there. Do me a favor, download the Listen to My Radio application. That's LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio. Put Ritual Madness Podcast in the search bar and bookmark it. You can check out our station. We've got all kinds of good music and comedy and rap and metal and all kinds of punk rock and all kinds of good shit like that. Right below there's a little Amazon link. If you shop Amazon, click that Amazon link, bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something off of Amazon, it kicks us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. Right below that is a little donation link. If you're feeling generous, please donate to the podcast. We'll keep the lights on up in this piece. Keep bottles of water flowing or whatever. I don't know, weed, something. I don't know. Keep everybody happy in this place. If you're
Hookers.
in a band, what'd you say?
Hookers.
Hookers. Yeah, we could purchase some hookers. We should be getting blowjobs underneath the table. Maybe your singer will bring some hookers when he's on his way. Something like that. I don't know. It's pretty cold out there for hookers. Are you not on? There we go. Go ahead. Check it.
Hello.
All right. Try it again.
Hello.
Try again.
Hello.
God damn it.
Want me to switch to the other? Hello.
There we go. See, I
switched to the other.
I
mic.
switched the cables on my own on accident there. Sorry.
Nah, no biggie.
God damn it. See, 4 years, it doesn't matter. You still fuck up.
You're doing your best.
If you're in a band and you have friends that are in bands, you want to submit your stuff to the podcast, do that at ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. That's ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for other cool podcasts to listen to, the Disciples of the Watch podcast, dotwpod.com. Very cool cats, Nate and Gene over there, doing all kinds of stuff, indie and local, national, all that good stuff. Also, a mainstay here in the Twin Cities, KFAI's Fresh Air Radio's Root of All Evil radio show, Sunday mornings, 1 a.m. till 6 a.m., 5 hours of pure metal. Good stuff, good stuff. We've got some pretty cool shows coming up as well. Long-winded beginnings, as always. Metal Soda presents the first annual Medis local metal music awards show. The very first of its kind that I know of. I know that City Pages used to do some sort of music awards around here, but they always fit. And nothing against City Pages, but they never seem to showcase the talented metal scene around here. There's so many great and talented metal acts around here. Well, Bill over at Metal Soda has taken upon himself to put a award show together. It is January 20th at Amsterdam Bar and Hall in St. Paul. That kind of rhymed, didn't it? 6 p.m. doors. Red carpet is at 6:30. That's right. There's a red carpet. You just come out, roll up in your limousine and pop out, waving your dick around. It'll be fun. Show starts at 7:30. It's $10 at the door. I am not sure if he's going to have local bands or any kind of bands playing during this thing yet. But there are lots of nominations. Reaping Asmodea has been nominated. They just got signed and they're about to drop a new album here. By the Thousands has also been nominated. Gabriel and Apocalypse, Piranha, Blue Felix, Reflections, In Search of Solace and Murder. Wait, hold on. In Search of Solace. Jesus Christ. Among the Serpents, Soul Keeper, Grave Slave, Witch Den, Chalice of Suffering, Royals, Buried Above Ground, which I butchered their name once before as well. Etheric, Hate Beast, Mastiff, Witch Den. He did put Witch Den in there twice. Anybody notice that? I noticed that.
I noticed that right away. I sent him a message like, dude, what's up?
It's all good. It's all good. Again, that's Friday, January 20th, Amsterdam Bar and Hall. That's 6 West 6th Street, St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm fucking blind. I'm looking right at this thing. Again, the doors are at 6. Bands arrive about 6:30 on the red carpet. Ceremonies at 7:30. Make sure you show up. This is going to be, this is a great idea. There's a lot of fucking heat coming Bill's way, man, for putting on something so positive towards the music scene here in the Twin Cities. What do you guys think about this whole deal as far as?
I think it's a chance for a lot of local bands to come together and just really unify what we have for our local metal scene.
Right.
Because what we remember from when we were growing up watching Head Charge and everything like that, like there was like huge following of bands.
Right.
At some point, it seems like it kind of fell apart. Now it's coming back again. This is a good chance for everybody just to hang out, meet each other, network. There's a lot of positive stuff with it.
I agree with you 100%. It's unfortunate that people are getting so negative about the whole thing, and because Bill himself or the committee that are involved in this thing didn't spread the love to everybody in the whole scene, means to me that a lot of these bands need to work a little harder. And there's no disrespect to any of these bands, because there's a lot of great bands in this town. There's a lot of bands that weren't mentioned at all, but it doesn't mean that Bill doesn't know who those bands are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a
think
good thing
that
to strive for.
What's that?
I mean, it's a good thing to strive for any band. I mean,
Yeah.
us included. It's,
Right.
I know it's gonna be. I think it's just gonna be sweet to have all those people.
Sure.
One area, like I was talking about earlier off air, that you're gonna be able to get together with these bands and actually talk to each other and hang out with people, and not, have the constant blaring music in the background like you do at a metal show, which is also a good time. But it's going to be a chance to actually get to talk to people and hang out. And other than when you see, 5 bands at a local show, you're going to get, probably 50 bands. So it's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I think that people should take advantage of that exact thing that you're talking about. The sad thing about it is that, I was part of that come up with American Head Charge and those bands back then. There were so many great bands, and it seemed like the Quest for Mayhems were the place that everybody went to on a Friday night, and everybody got a chance to hang out with each other. Yep. And it didn't matter. It meant, and Jack Gilbert was one of those guys that really looked at all the bands in every style of music and tried to get everybody to come and play. One room would have this kind of music that, and he would switch them up all the time. And it was like a great place. It was like the Medis, on steroids. I hate using that term, but it's kind of one of those things where you were there to network with each other, hand out your, swap CDs, get extra shows, do all kinds of cool shit. Book out of town. We were talking about Mr. Heavy's from back in the day too, that was the spot, you'd hook up with a couple bands. We played a Banehinge out there, and it was a drunken fucking mayhem fest, It was so much fun in that little basement, and having people, lined up on the hallway and up the stairs, and it's just insane. And you're
smashing your head into the I-beams.
Yeah,
that
dude,
so low.
You're playing on the floor. You know what I mean? There's no fucking stage in that shit.
For like 3 months after we played down there, our guitar chords, when we go to wrap them up, still had all the grime and the gruel and all the shit all over them and stuff. Your arm, you wrap them up, your arm is black.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that from? Oh, 3 months ago. Oh, yeah.
That was from kicking cups of beer.
Oh, yeah. When we played there, because they just were
thrashing,
like, you guys get free beer or whatever. Yeah. This dude just kept setting cups down, and then Eddie over here is just over there just punting them across the room. Like, dude, this guy's trying to be nice and give us beer, and it was just like punting practice.
Your beer, bitch!
Yeah. Across the room, cups and beer all over everybody. Everybody's jumping around. It was a great time.
It was free flowing that night, so it wasn't a big deal.
But that squishy ass floor had so much shame spilt into it. Like, you go down there, your shoes were fucked for a month after you walked down. And then the upstairs was like a dance rave, because we didn't know. The first time we played there, we get down there, I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of how it was explained to us. There's a half a cop car and It's, the size of a closet. It is tiny down there. And you go upstairs, massive bar, and it was just a bunch of college kids dancing, fog machines, lasers.
When we played down there, fucking, I'm walking upstairs and I see this dude talking to this chick, and they're, and she's fucking kind of yelling at him or whatever. And I look over and it's my cousin. She went to Stout. And I totally forgot about it. I look over, my cousin's yelling at some dude and shit. I run up on the dude. She's like, whoa, where the fuck you come from? No, don't beat this dude's ass. You know what I mean? I was fucking like, whoa, what are you doing here? Why are you screaming at this dude? What's going on? Oh, he was just being rude, whatever. It's funny to see, all those fucking danceteria club kids upstairs.
Yeah,
A bunch of metal.
There was times when one of the times we played there too. I mean, we had the downstairs where we were playing was pretty well packed. And then you go upstairs, and that place is huge upstairs, and there's like 15 people.
Right.
Like, can we switch it around maybe a little bit?
For sure. Why don't we go around the table? Introduce yourself. Tell me what you do in the band.
My name is Eddie. I play bass.
Brain Pie, play guitar.
I'm Matt. I play the drums.
Nice. And then there's a blank chair with a guy who's going to be coming here. Right?
Yeah.
He's
Justin.
selling goldfish or something. I don't know.
Dishwashers?
Oh, there we go.
I think
whatever.
he's selling dishwashers.
Dishwashers or
Sorry.
goldfish?
I can't remember.
Gold dishwashers.
There we go. Man, that's what it
Shaped
is.
like a fish.
There we go. I'm sure somebody's going to come in and drop $75,000 on it.
He's making money to buy us more gear.
There you go.
He's our
Can't hate.
he's our flautist. he'll be here pretty soon.
How did you?
Is that a skin flute?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, possibly.
Probably.
I think so. Yep.
It's like what is that fucking? What was that? Jethro Tull or some shit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The
Nothing says rock band like a flute.
It's next level.
that's the best shit ever. So how long have you guys been a band?
10.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd say probably.
Yeah, minus a
13 or-
break in there. But I mean, we started. I was
21. I'm 31. So, yeah 10 years.
10 years with about a 3-year break in between it.
Sure.
So we've been back playing again for maybe 2.
I'd say 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years. We've been back for 2 years, but I think the first year that we really didn't know what we wanted to do. We were kind of getting back into doing the cover music. It was just a gig to make money,
Sure.
how that
We
goes.
sold out.
We definitely sold out, but
We bought into
Then you unsold out.
yep.
Yeah.
Then we unsold out. Then we started checking out some of these local shows. Checking out the ATB when they came around, and I got to thinking. I'm like, you know what? We're not an old man jam band yet. We still got some kick in us left, and I was like,
Oh, man, Jam.
yeah, we're not an old man jam band. We don't
love
need.
it.
We don't need to
we
be
didn't
playing.
hire a flautist.
Yeah, we
Yet.
We don't need to be playing cover music in bars. Personally can't stand playing other people's music. That's just not my thing. So then I was like, all right, here's the vision. Are you guys in? Let's get back to writing music. Let's get to making our own stuff. Let's give it one last go.
Right.
This scene is a lot different now than it was back when we were really going. Back when we were doing our thing originally.
And your kids, man.
yeah.
Back then, and you're starting out, and you're really trying to learn, kind of hone your writing style. Even if
Yeah.
you're playing covers, you're still learning your instrument and
Oh, yeah.
and putting it together, man. You know,
Yep.
so
And yeah, like you said, we were kids. We didn't really know what we were doing.
Right.
It was a ton of years of just experimenting, getting our foot in the door and learning things. We learned a lot in the
Playing
years.
5-6 shows a month for 2 years straight. Everywhere. Never said no to a show.
We
We
would
played anywhere, everywhere.
We would double book some nights,
Yeah, we did that a couple of times.
just trying to get out there.
Play earlier in the evening and then pack up and then head out and start playing at 11 o'clock at night at
Somewhere
some
else.
party
Yeah.
out in front of a couple hundred people in a barn in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. Been
Just
there, done that.
Why
man.
the fuck not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free beer.
But so that we took that break and we all kind of went and did our own things and we all learned some things, and now we're back. Now we see the scene as a lot different, and I feel like we have more of a chance because our music now and the stuff we're starting to write is more relevant to what's being played, and it's more, everything fits a lot better.
Sure.
Back then we were more of a thrash metal band, and there was a bunch of, scene type, emo type bands playing, and we just
didn't fit the mix.
We didn't
at
fit
all.
anywhere.
It was
We
bad.
stuck out like a sore thumb. And we always thought, this might be good for us to stick out like a sore thumb because we'll get noticed. But that didn't really work out for us.
Sure.
It went opposite for us.
Right.
So, yeah.
How do you guys feel the scene has changed since back in those days?
Oh, the social media aspect of stuff is
Completely
huge
different.
now. Like back,
Huge good or huge bad?
I think huge good because for me, I guess
One guy's saying yes and the other one's shaking the head no.
he's not on like Facebook or anything
Sure.
like that.
Zero
so,
social media.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't wear his New Balance shoes and his acid wash jeans today.
Open up my flip phone. Text about that later.
But I mean, it's a chance to get your music out there for people to hear it and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to use and utilize that than it was back when we started, when there was, I think, only really MySpace.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of we really didn't
It was the
utilize
beta
that.
testing,
Right.
testing of media, social
Yeah.
media.
Like, I remember like probably 2 years being in the band when Facebook finally kind of came around and got off being just for college students.
Yeah.
Like, we completely missed that ball, wrote that off. We're like, what is this crap?
Right.
MySpace is where it's at. That's forever. That got just trounced. All of a sudden, years later, we're like, oh, dude, we took a 3-year break and nobody
Dude, I was hanging on to
MySpace
that
isn't
shit.
even here
I was
anymore.
hanging on like, then it became all bands. Like everything.
Yeah, that's what it
everything
was
you
going to
did
try
was-
to be
yeah.
used for. I heard that like Justin Timberlake bought it or something, was
Yeah.
going to use it for just music, but I've looked into bands.
Yeah, I
for
went
my-
back. I went back
It's-
just to look to see what it was.
I
I had
don't-
to,
I
I had to
don't
like
like
contact him just to get all my shit back. And I'm like, oh man, look at all these crazy pictures and shit. And I took all the pictures and was like, fuck MySpace, dude. Yeah.
No, the social media is really good for connecting and stuff, but at the same time, you can see so much on YouTube and people's Facebook and all this that, I don't know if that's hindering people from coming out to
I
shows.
think it is. I honestly think it is.
My biggest beef ever with Facebook is I see it all the time. Bands are having shows. You can look down below that. Hey, 279 people are coming out to this show. You get to the show and there's 6.
Yep.
And it's like, well, what the? So everyone just like clicks this
Yep.
shit and moves on. I
Yep.
guess, again, not being in the social media world that much, I'm very aware of it. But
Right.
that to me always just irked me. It's like, well, you can never say, well, this is going to be huge because 500 people are coming. Because
Yeah.
you got to basically take that whole
I've
number.
really tried, and I'm not like I'm spearheading a movement or anything like that, but with the podcast, I've really tried to tell people that you really gotta fucking, if you like a band, you have to be out there supporting that band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You really have to go out and buy the merch, buy the CDs. I mean, yeah, you can. There's no handing out flyers anymore, man.
No.
I used to love getting hammered and coming out of a bar and having 7 people hand me flyers, like, oh yeah, just fucking jam it in my jacket or whatever. And then the next day or the next week you're pulling shit out of your jacket and you're like, oh shit, fucking cool show coming up here. You know what I mean? I had some cats I went around drunk talking shit to people, telling that I told this one cat, I was like, we're giving away a big wheel. And it's not like the old school big wheel, like the 3-wheel one. It's the green machine where you spin around. And this dude was his eyes got all big, and I'm going, we're giving away a big wheel. The first 100 people in the door, we're giving away big wheel back patches and shit for your vests. And we're all going to be like a big wheel biker gang and shit. And I'm just clowning, making this shit up, And the dude showed up at the show, I'm handing him flyers and his girlfriend flyers, and he's like, did you guys already raffle off the big wheel or what? My kid wants that big wheel. And I'm like, dude, it was just a joke to get you to come in,
Damn.
But that's the kind of shit that, you get people to show up because it's just outlandish as fuck.
You
Now-
get sued for that kind of shit now.
Right.
Like that lady that she was
Yeah.
that she was gonna get a Toyota.
Right?
So she's thinking she's gonna get a car.
Right.
She got a toy
Yoda
figurine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then she sued and then they had to buy her a car.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's bullshit. Yeah. False advertising, that kind of shit.
Like,
See,
I want a free car.
See, that's the thing though, is like you said, people are doing, they make the event pages and then, it pops up and then you just, oh, I'm busy tonight, or you forget about it all the way through the month. And then the night before it's like, oh shit, I already booked this and this and this with it.
That's why I like the new like gimmick stuff that like Bill's been supporting and DJ put on that boat show. Me and Mitch went to that thing. That was a riot.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant idea where it was like, okay, this is something new. You can go see these bands
Right.
anywhere. Those bands are playing all the time. but those bands aren't playing on a big ass boat that's floating down a river.
Right.
That was the coolest thing I've ever been to.
I thought it was super original.
It was genius, and the boat was packed, but it was still very comfortable on there.
Right.
You weren't like elbow to elbow with everybody.
Sure.
I thought that was like the greatest ploy ever.
Yeah,
Like you
I heard
said,
it.
it's a good way to get people in the door because it is something different than just it's another show at this venue.
Yeah. I heard a couple people talk about that it seemed like it went by so fast to we got on the boat. By the end of it, they turned back around. Everybody was done playing, and then fucking, they're like, "Dude, we still got all this drinking time to do." You know what I mean? And it was done. So that would be kind of harsh. I mean, 3 and done, 3 hours and flip back around, and you're on the port hammered, getting ready to fucking figure out where you're going next. But brilliant idea. I mean, that's it's gotta happen again. It was a great idea.
To me, the turnout that they had for just local bands was nuts. Like I haven't seen turnout like that for just what was it, 4 bands that played at that?
Yeah, I think it was like 3.
3 or 4. Yeah, it wasn't a lot,
4.
but I mean,
I don't remember.
You don't get a turnout like that at just any venue. So because I think the originality of that was kind of those once in a lifetime. Or
I think
it'll be annual, but
yeah, I think the premise of it and the idea of it is what should hopefully turns things around with the Medi show. Is that I think that Bill has a great idea of how to work this thing, and I think that he's got people involved on the panel that he has that he put together that are going to help him work this thing out. And I think the people that are hating on it now are eventually, and then all of a sudden another award show pops up like, fucking a week later. I thought that was a little coincidental, like, hey, really cool idea. Let me borrow that from you. You know what I mean? Let's call it something else and do, we're going to, they're hitting rap and they're doing, and I'm not shitting on it because I think it's a great idea no matter what, but Bill did kind of pop this off first, and now all of a sudden another one pops up. And hey, if they're going to cover all of these other genres, that's great. But Bill's focusing on the metal, and I think that's something that's gone by the wayside so much in the Twin Cities. And there's been so many, great bands, like you said, from American Head Charge in,
Smile Wire,
Black Flood Diesel.
Black Flood Diesel, and they're back doing things. They're going to be playing one of the Lee's Liquor Lounge shows that I do over there in February with a couple rap groups as well. It's going to be The Vault, Hex Vortices, TikTok, and MC Rents and Black Flood Diesel. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be super fun. So that is something that's going to be off and popping. It's great to see those guys back in the mix of it all too. Bringing the old school back. You know what I mean? And they still throw down. I seen them with Gabriel and Apocalypse at their CD release show, and that was phenomenal. They did a great job. And getting back into it, I'm excited for Bill. I hope this all works out. I hope that people show up to this thing and actually do mingle with each other and break some of these barriers that we seem to have built up, with, the gent scene and the death metal scene and the thrash scene and we got these house party scene that's going over in Minneapolis. There's a lot of, thrashers, doing house parties and keg parties over there. I don't know if you've been to any of those house parties.
Dude, I want in a house party.
Dude, there are fucking straight ragers, dude.
Hit us up. We will play your house parties.
Bands like King Goro and Plagued Insanity, Invidiosis does a bunch of those. Fucking Disabler did a few. I mean, they just pop up out of nowhere. I think the place is called the Rat Hole that they've been doing them at. It's just a house over in Minneapolis. I've been to been to one of them, and it was really fun. It was really cool. Everybody was chill. There's people, just having a good time and super friendly with each other. There's no fucking dudes, you know what I mean? That kind of weird shit. And that's something that really needs to happen in the scene. And I hopefully Bill really, breaks a little bit of the barriers and people show up and show love for this show. It's the intention is there, and it's a fucking great idea. So I'm hoping that it works out for him.
Well, I think that's how people need to kind of take that of what it is that this is a chance for us to all just kind of unify and kind of come together and just hang out and just have a chill night, listen to some metal, get to know like, oh, there's this band that I've been a fan of locally, seen them a couple of times. Would love to be able to sit and talk or ask the dude, hey, what fucking guitar do you play? Just be able to shoot the shit with somebody like that.
Gear talk. Yeah, that's always
just
awesome.
Totally nerd out over stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity to be able to do that.
Now the thing is, man, and you saying that makes me feel great because I really firmly believe that's a great opportunity for people to do it. The sad thing is there's so many fucking naysayers out there right now. Yeah.
Haters everywhere.
And they're tripping about this shit, saying, you know, I won't say the dude's name, but there's one cat that's in the scene that he's in the medium where he has a lot of he has the ability to affect a lot of people with the things that he says. He's a great writer. He puts on a great show. He does a great, very similar to the show that I do, but he's so against the scene. And I've had him on my show, you know, and it's hard for me I see it in my feed all the time, and it frustrates me so much because it's so negative towards what we've tried to build. All the bands here, not just, you know, the guys that have been here forever. You know what I mean? I'm talking about all the bands that are involved in the scene. He's like, this scene's dead. And it's like he waves the dead flag, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, you got to stop with that shit. If you believed in what you do in this place, if you keep saying it's dead, it will be dead. You know what I mean? The negative aspect of all the bullshit, and we all know this in any facet of our lives at all. If you go to work and you bust your ass at work, it normally will go unnoticed. But if you fuck up at work and somebody goes, oh, the dude was, you know, they reported you to HR. That negativity fucking will consume everything that you do. You know what I'm saying?
They only see the bad shit.
I know, and it sucks, man. It's like being in school and fucking you and your buddy are hitting each other, and all of a sudden he hits you, and you're like, motherfucker, and you hit him back, and the teacher turns around and goes to the fucking principal. Yeah, exactly. And see, to me, that's what it is. It's very, very childish, very school, you know, schoolyard shit, you know, where people are bullying each other over nonsense. You know, people are fucking with Bill over this whole deal, you know, saying, oh, my band's been here and there's so many great bands in the scene, and you're really looking past, you know, all these great bands. And I don't think that is his intention at all.
Yeah, like what? Then show up.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I'm sorry, but like if you're negative about it, you're adding to that. If you actually think there is some sort of feud, you're adding and piling onto that by just not showing up and hanging out.
Those barriers will always be there if you don't take the initiative. And I've said this a million times to the guys in my club, which you know we support a 5-state area with the NYDM, and it's a music club for, you know, networking amongst the states. You know what I mean? You can book a fucking full tour with the guys from the NYDM, all the people that you know throughout the states. Anyways, what I'm saying is that be part of the solution and not part of the problem. You know what I mean? And that's a perfect example of it right there.
Oh, definitely.
Because you're going to sit back and you're going to fucking talk under your breath like, oh, these guys fucking suck. Or, you know, we talked about this off the air, about just negative talking in having shitty words in your vocabulary, things that you have every day that you just say, and you don't think that people are going to get, you know, that normally your friends that you hang out with, they're not offended by it, but the people around you outside your circle, they get offended by it. And it does have to do with the world being fucking pussified. You know what I mean? Everybody's a sensitive little bitch nowadays.
Well, everybody's
you know
just waiting for somebody to say something,
right,
just so they have an excuse.
Right. So they could sue you. Exactly. They could fucking, you know, cause a riot or do something. Yeah, exactly. Be a fucking computer warrior. And you know what I'm saying?
Social media gave everybody a voice.
Yeah.
Gave everybody a voice.
Yeah. I got reported. This is what's fucked up is that we had a short week. I was behind for promotion on this show, and I'm like, fuck, I got to get this done. I put the fucking promo up. I dropped the last podcast, which was 2 weeks ago. Normally it's every week I drop one. And I'm like, all right, I got a short week. I got to do this. Dude, I got reported for putting a bag of dicks on my buddy's Facebook page. And it was like, I don't know, I want to say like 2 years ago, something like that. I said 4, but somebody goes, dude, it was no way it was 4. So it was on his page, and he goes, what the fuck did you get blocked for? You know, putting some fucking gay shit on some, you know, he's just saying some shit, you know? And I'm like, dude, I put it on your page. Somebody fucking reported me from your page. He's going, no fucking way. You know, he's all pissed off. And the first thing my wife said was like, you probably posted a dick on one of your buddy's pages and got booted off for it. So I'm panicking. I'm going, fuck, I can't even promote. I'm fucking banned for 24 hours. I created another account. I'm ready to start doing it. That night, I fucking go back and I push fucking share. And there your guys' thing popped up. And I go, fucking thank God, right back at it again. Sucks, man. You know, people are so damn sensitive about nothing, man. Yeah, so
God, who knew a bag of dicks would be such a big deal? It's a bag of
Right.
dicks.
Yeah, it was like a grocery bag with dicks hanging out the side of it. It's hilarious. But we should listen to some tunes. We got a lot of stuff to get to before the evening, and we're running long here. So we're gonna start out with one of your guys' tunes. Which one did we pick? Follow Me. That's what
Follow
it
Me
is.
Down.
Yeah,
Follow
follow
me
me
down.
down.
Tell me about that song. And you come sit down, man. Have a seat. Don't be shy. Don't worry about it. If you don't want to talk, you don't have to. But you're gonna get suckered into it anyways. What's your name, buddy? What do you do in the band?
Justin, I'm the talent. The lead
He's
singer,
he's the
actually.
he's the bag of dicks in the band.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Just comes in and says, "I'm the talent." That's awesome. Now that's a true singer right there.
Yep. Now you put a microphone in front of him,
There you
and then we might as well.
have
The rest of us
medium
can
He
leave.
was back here going, no, I don't want to be involved in it. So tell me, what's this song about? How'd you get to writing this tune?
I know. Follow Me Down was just kind of. It was written in I don't know, a weird place, a darker place, and I don't
a
know. I was
basement
just
with the lights off?
yeah, like a basement, and I don't know. I was in a good mood for like a couple of months there, and I wrote this song, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna be miserable. I might as well bring everybody with me, and that's kind of how it started. You know, real metal and you know, hateful sounding.
Dark
So
Places, that's usually the spawn of a
right,
good metal song.
or an awesome Iron Maiden song
There
or
you
something
go.
like that. Yeah.
Personally, it's my favorite song on the EP because I think it's the heaviest.
Now, how long have you guys had this EP out?
Freshly, like
5
2 months, maybe.
Yeah.
2-3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
October.
this
End
was
of
when,
October. it came
Yep.
out.
When we were talking earlier, and we were saying, you know, we've been back for like 2 years. That first year was all cover music, and then we've spent the last year working on writing and recording in the studio for this EP.
So really focusing in on what you guys were playing.
Yeah,
on.
we spent a year on this whole EP and
Right.
got it focused. And I think it's really cool. It's the first time we've ever had anything on like iTunes or, you know, it's on iTunes, Amazon Music.
That's where I heard it today. I
Google
looked
Play.
it up on iTunes Music because I wanted to make sure I had, you know, kind of an idea. I didn't want to
Yeah.
come in and think
Completely
about
blind.
banjos and shit. You know what
Right.
I mean?
No,
You
yeah.
guys are wearing big belt buckles and cowboy hats and shit.
Right.
Ryan wears big belt buckles.
I mean,
He loves
that's
dinner
a
plate.
fact.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
But
fuck
yes.
no.
Oh yeah.
I got
Discount double check.
I got a drawer full. I can just pick and choose what I
you
want to
go.
wear.
But yeah, so I mean, we think it's pretty cool that we finally got. It's probably the most professional thing we've ever done. We're really putting all of our heart and soul and time and effort and money and energy, everything that we have, we're putting into this, and it's starting to show.
That's what it's about, man.
So
Yeah, I know. You know, it did once you guys dropped it. I know Bill was right on it right away. He was like, he hit me up and said, "This is a band you have to check out. You have to check out." I didn't get a chance to check you guys out,
Right.
but he said you should get him on the podcast. We should, you should talk to them. They're cool cats.
So this will be your first time hearing it too?
No,
then?
I heard it today for the first time, but
What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome.
Huge
it
chubby?
It sounded good. It sounded really good.
What
Sounded
you got
really
there,
good.
a little choppy?
You know when you're in your car and that's like the spot you really can fucking
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just go nuts.
Yeah,
Crank
no
it.
kids, no wife, no fucking neighbors getting pissed at
Crank
you.
it up.
You know what I mean? If it's not the car, it's here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
fucking
Absolutely.
blast the shit. So yeah, I had a chance to check it out. Very cool stuff.
Sweet.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited. I'm
Appreciate
excited to see where you guys are going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So we've got some Machine Head after that. Who picked the Machine Head?
That would be me.
And what do you think about them cats?
I remember being in like sixth, seventh grade,
Yeah.
and woke up in the morning, and for some reason, back when 93X actually played
Metal.
metal,
Yeah.
I woke up to hearing From This Day.
Yeah.
And it was like new metal-y, kind of rappy and stuff, but it was heavy as balls. And I was like, holy shit, like I just found my new favorite band. I've been
What album was that?
The Burning Red.
Okay, yeah.
That
so,
album
and then
rules.
like I bought that album and listened to it nonstop. I figured out like how to tune my guitar the way that they did. I
Sure.
played every fucking song
Right.
every day. Discovered some of their older stuff where they're a lot more thrashy, that old like Oakland kind of thrash metal sound.
Shit, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like these cats used to be fast and heavy, got kind of rappy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff happened with 9/11. They got dropped from Roadrunner, went over to Europe, totally kind of went back to that old school sound.
Yep.
And when Through the Ashes of Empires came out, Imperium was like the first song on there that I heard and was just blown away with like they went back to that sound, but it was so much better.
Sure.
And just rediscovered my love for them. And I mean, they're still like
And they're
huge
such
influence.
He's
such
got-
a kick-ass live show. Like,
oh
they're
yeah,
just awesome.
I've seen him live
Like,
a handful of times.
just
and-
He's
monsters,
the one. He's
man.
the one with the chubby now.
Oh yeah,
I think
huge.
he's going to be going around the table a little bit.
I would stand up, but I'd knock her over
Don't
my
look in
drink
my
here.
eyes. It's not gay if you don't.
Prison
look in my
rules.
eyes.
Prison rules.
Yeah. So then you guys were talking about this band that you said doesn't get enough love. Is 36 Crazy Fist? Tell me
Oh,
about that band.
absolutely.
We grew up just bumping 36 Crazy Fist, and anybody else we really knew around us had no clue who they were.
Right.
And we were just in love with this band. We thought they were.
Dude, doesn't
from
that suck?
Alaska.
Doesn't
Completely-
that suck?
They're
though,
from
when you're
Alaska.
like, dude, you got to check this out. What is this fucking shit? They're
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? Why are you so hard on these guys?
Right.
You got to check it. Then they give you 5 other bands, and you're like, dude, this shit's still hard.
They-
to get.
Oh yeah.
They play
Still
their
better.
music. They play their music so fast live that the first time we
It's
saw them,
sick.
they played like 2 CDs worth of music in a half an hour. And I'm not making that
It
up.
was nuts.
It was life changing.
17 drumsticks went flying out.
Yeah,
the
the
crowd as we were
drummer-
doing that shit.
Yeah,
like, just
we
throwing
were
them,
standing in the crowd, and the drummer is just whipping these sticks off of his ride cymbal while they're up there, and they're playing these songs. Like normally that song would be 3 minutes long. It's like about a minute and 15 seconds
just
because they're playing
blasting
just
through
it. Oh, yeah.
flying
It
through
was
because
nuts.
they have like 20 minutes because they're opening up for like In Flames or whatever.
Right.
The drummer's just flicking sticks out there. And I remember standing there watching the show and like, God damn, these guys are so good. Nobody around is really appreciating them. And this younger dude, shorter, gets beamed square in the forehead. Like the sound of that drumstick
hear
hitting
it.
him.
You can hear it over the
Carried
music.
over
like,
the music. And
know?
everybody was like, damn.
Yeah,
and
it
he
was
turns around
crazy.
like, what was that?
black and blue already.
Already
like-
just this giant welt.
Damn.
Like, Jesus.
That stick was flying towards me, and I dodged to the left.
Yeah. You know what
and
it would-
It went right past me and hit the kid behind me. I was like, I felt bad, but I was like, yo, I'm glad it was not me.
That thing had some
Catch one in the
that thing
neck.
had some wind behind it.
the
serious
thing about
inertia.
36 the thing about 36 is they have such a unique singer. He's really hard to understand.
Right.
And like he's just very particular, so it's
Got
kinda,
a lot of vibrato. in
yeah, and
it.
it just I think
like
that's what turns
SpongeBob
people off
laugh.
from him. But yeah, this whole Snow-Capped Romance album that this song is on is cover to cover one of my favorites of
That's
all
what we were
time.
saying
Probably
before,
top
that's-
10
yeah.
for me as far as albums are
I
concerned.
could still listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
I still listen to it twice a
Nice.
month, start to finish.
How about the Architects? Tell me about that.
Oh, that was me.
That was
again.
also Brian.
Yeah, I mean that was a band that I discovered a fistful of years ago. Back
One guy's going yes, and the other one's no.
I never even heard of this. band.
Me either.
they're from the UK. When I found out about them, they had this like super heavy, like almost mathcore-y, like old, like kind of hardcore kind of sound. And I figured out that they were playing on 6-string guitars, but they tuned it was like drop C, but that low C they brought all the way back down to G. So they had 2 G's in a row.
Jesus.
Like super heavy,
G's.
really like weird tone.
Right.
And I was like, holy fuck, like these guys are heavy as shit. The singer's voice was unique. A lot of people don't like it, but there's just a lot of just raw aggression. And one of their original guitar players literally just passed away. He just passed away from
Sorry, that
cancer.
wasn't funny.
No.
He's going wrap it up, B.
Sorry,
Wrap it up.
dude, just fucking talking about music. I mean, that's what we do.
That's
but,
what we're here to
Yeah.
do.
Right.
He's just fucking wrap it up, B.
I mean, it's
I love that shit. It's so great. That's true friendship right there. You know,
Truth.
Come on, man. Come on, wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
I like them. I like them for their music and for who they are as people. If anybody's a fan of The Ghost Inside, they were just in a horseshit accident like a year and some change ago. Architects donated a pile of money to them for all their medical bills and stuff. Like that's the kind of unity that there is in the worldwide metal scene. Is that when there's tragic things that happen, because touring bands you typically don't have health insurance of any sort.
right.
And these guys had their drummer lost his leg. They had broken backs and stuff. And Architects donated like 10 grand. Bring Me the Horizon donated a pile of money to them too. Like there is some unity left in the metal scene.
And I think that right there speaks volumes of the way a scene like ours should be working with each
Right.
other. And I know my family was in a bad crash in September, and one of the guys in Echoes of the Fallen, Jordan Swanson, he's a good buddy of mine, threw a benefit for us, and a lot of people showed up, and DJ from Buried Above Ground, he showed up, and it was like the way I imagine the Medi should be is where there's bands from all kinds of different genres.
Yep.
The gambit of people in the Twin Cities, and that's the coolest shit is people showing up and showing their true colors about giving a shit about the other musicians around them. You know what I mean? And that's really cool. And yeah, that speaks volumes for metal in general. And you know, everybody thinks that, you know, metalheads are all fucking, you know, satanic and fucking want to smash you with a brick. I mean, we do, but it's
Sure as
kinda,
fuck, dude.
It's all in love.
Damn right.
yeah, it's like, we'll give you a hug afterwards. We'll call the ambulance. All right, man. We're gonna take a listen to some tunes. Stick around, folks. We got lots more to come. We'll be back. Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 148. Failing to wake, hanging out in this bitch. Hope you guys are having a good evening. 2017 up in this piece again, up in this piece again. I guess this is the first time it's been 2017, isn't it?
Good call.
Don't forget, January 20th, the Metal Soda is presenting the first annual Medi Awards at the Amsterdam Bar in St. Paul. 6 p.m. doors, 6:30 red carpet. Ceremony starts at 7:30. I believe there's going to be some bands there. I'm not sure yet. I know there's a lot of nominations, a lot of cool local bands. $10 at the door. Don't forget, the Ritual Madness Podcast does monthly Metal Madness at Lee's Liquor Lounge every month since last May. I've been doing shows there. We got another one coming up on the 28th of January with Beast Face, Day Zero, Hate Beast, and Kobaloy. That's going to be a great show. $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 PBRs, and that is $7 at the door. It's going to be a blast. Come check it out. It's going to be fun. Lots of really cool shows coming up. I don't have them all in front of me, but I'm sure you'll be able to follow me on Facebook and the Ritual Madness Podcast on Facebook as well. We got all kinds of stuff to get to. I wanted to kind of go around the table. This is something that I ask pretty much every guest that comes in. I really like to hear where people get their influences from, their inspirations, as far as, you know, what were you guys listening to as young guys? You know what I mean? What were your folks listening to? What were the things that you know, music caught you? What instruments were you playing? What'd you start playing?
I started playing piano when I was a little kid. I think I was in like the 2nd grade or something. And I played that till I got into about the 6th grade. My mom kind of made me play it, but she had a piano in our house growing up, and I don't know, I started playing the Meow Mix commercial. It was by ear, and my mom was like, "That's amazing. My kid has a hidden talent. He can play by ear." And from there we went on, and then I kind of gave up on that. And when I was 13 years old, I don't know, it was something. Always growing up listening to music, it was always something about the bass.
Right.
Yeah, I was.
So what were you listening to at that age?
At that age,
What was your mom listening to?
my mom, she was listening to like Elton John, dude. She got me into Elton John when I was a kid. We went and seen him when I was in the 6th grade. That was my first concert.
That's pretty epic.
But my dad, when I was a kid, the first thing I ever remember listening to was Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. Tinker Train. My old man, dude, he pounded Ozzy Osbourne into our heads, me and my little brother. Like, that's all we listened to. And he, you know, pumped Van Halen, all the goodies, dude. He was into all that kind of music.
Right.
So growing up, I had that kind of influence.
And kind of a wide spectrum too. Yeah, Elton John is considered rock and roll, but it's not.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not Ozzy Osbourne or, you know what I mean, anything like that. So you really got the flavor all over the place too. You know.
Yep. So by that age, I was when I picked up my bass guitar, that age I was listening to Slipknot, and I was also bumping Eminem and reading Lowrider magazines. And I just had
You're a confused
plethora.
young man.
Yep, I had a plethora. I had
Still
a plethora.
is.
Yep, still is. I had a plethora of influences. I loved hip hop, and I loved punk music too.
Sure.
You know, I was listening to like Anti-Flag,
Dude, NoFX.
Rancid, NoFX. I've seen NoFX a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Anti-Flag, all those bands. I was heavy into punk, heavy into metal, heavy into hip hop. I liked it all. I just did not like country.
Right.
If you played country in front of me, I would punch you in the face. I'd be like, no. Which is different now. I can bump that old school Waylon Jennings all day. I'm into
the
that.
outlaw country.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Outlaw
but
shit.
New country is
Not the hey bro country.
yeah, it's how fancy are your jeans?
Right.
Yeah. So
Dude,
no.
there were some sweet bedazzled jeans you got there.
Yeah, I found them in my sister's closet.
Right.
Dude, I was at a job site fucking a couple weeks back, right? And there's a supervisor at the job site, and I'm lifting fucking materials, and I look over, dude, and he's got those bedazzled jeans on. And he's a big buffed out dude, you know, long hair and a ponytail, got his hard hat on and shit. it took everything in my power not to go, damn, they make them in men's sizes now? And dude, he walked by me like 4 or 5 times, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I was biting my tongue. Then the supervisor that I was delivering for, he comes down and I go, did you see that guy's jeans? And he goes, yeah, he's the main soup here. And I go, God, I just want to fuck with him. I goes, those are pretty special, aren't they? And I go, yeah, fucking, he bedazzled them fuckers himself. Dude.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I listen to a lot of music. You know, I like listening to EDM, you know,
Yeah.
dubstep. I like reggae. I like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Man. You can't. I get so bored listening to the same thing over and over. Like, I don't know how people do it. I have to.
I've always said that. How the
Yep.
fuck can you listen to the same shit over and over and over again?
Never. I have to change it up all the time.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's my playlist, man. I'll just push fucking random. I don't even go,
yep.
you know, it's very, very rare that I'll take one band and listen to a whole CD anymore unless it's stellar shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like, okay, if I run into you, I'll see you on the flip, you know what I mean? Let
Mm-hmm.
it go. You know, it goes from fucking Amy Winehouse to fucking, you know, Ralph Stanley and, you know what I mean? Some
Yep.
country, some Waylon Jennings or some, you know, Hank Williams, and then it'll just go aborted or fucking cattle decapitation. You know?
absolutely.
You got to do that shit, you know?
Yeah. I'll go from listening to Seosin to 50 Cent to Slightly Stupid to I'm going to listen to Hatebreed,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Keeps it the spice of life right there, all varietied up.
Yep.
How about you, man? How'd you get started?
My dad played drums in a band from, well, even before I was born.
Right.
All through the 70s into the 80s. And I
So
grew
you
up-
were filling those beats when you were deep inside the
Sure was.
in the bag. You were
Just
in
a
the back of
twinkle
the
in your
bag.
daddy's
dude.
eye. Yeah.
yeah, I was the,
You were like the lint in the
Second.
bottom of a backpack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
the second mistake. Man, the motorcycles went away. The band went away. I mean, he still played drums on occasion and stuff. They're still set up in my parents' house and everything. And I grew up just watching him play with my uncle and some of their friends and stuff in my uncle's house for years. Just go over there and watch them jam and just pounding beers and stuff. And, watch my dad drink and play drums, and everything was awesome. And then, he listened to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Rolling Stones and a lot of kind of, I guess, rock and everything from that time. He's a lot more into like country and stuff now.
Sure.
And a lot more like low key mellow stuff.
Right.
I guess that happens as you get older.
God, I hope
But-
not. That's
Yeah,
never
I know.
going to happen to me.
Yeah, and famous last words. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, man, Frank Sinatra. Listen to
This
that
was
right now.
really good, right?
I'm going
now.
to Kenny G next month. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, that's horrible. I have seen Kenny G in concert.
I heard he shreds. I heard he shreds. Like, he's actually pretty
check
good.
this out.
He breathes like a goose.
Dude, he started from the top of the auditorium and walked all the way down, went all the way around the floor, and then on stage holding the note all the way down.
That's
Right,
what I
'cause
mean.
he
He breathes like a
breathes in,
goose.
right? Yeah.
Because he can breathe in through his nose and
From his
exhale.
asshole.
Yeah.
He breathes from his asshole. He's got a snorkel hanging out of his butt. and shit. Okay. Sorry, man.
Oh no, it's
See that's the thing about this show is I'm fucking ADD squirrel. I'm fucking.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go. Reel it back in, fellas.
Bad when
So-
you get us all together like that, you know.
so. Aside from watching him play, I wanted to play bass originally. That's what my uncle played, and playing drums was kind of out of the question. Too much noise and everything. So I wanted to play bass. Started doing that. Had other friends in school that also were bass players. We wanted to form a band. Well, somebody had to play guitar. I was like, well, I'll pick it up. I'll go get a guitar and we'll jam. And we started doing like Nirvana and just older kind of grunge stuff. And then discovered heavier bands, Cannibal Corpse and stuff
What
like that.
was
I
the
like,
first band? I mean, you just said Cannibal Corpse. What was the first band that actually sparked you into the heavy? Because Cannibal Corpse is the deep end of the pool. If you really look at it. From a kid standpoint, you look at that fucking first cover of Tomb of the Mutilated or fucking Butchered at Birth.
I shit you not, it was Cannibal Corpse. Like, it went from playing like Alice in Chains and like Nirvana and stuff with friends and just dicking around with grunge music, and then a friend of a friend was like, dude, check this out. Like, listen to how fast this is. Like, listen to how brutal this is.
right.
Listen to it. And I was like, holy
Hammer smash
shit.
face and shit.
Yeah.
It's from the Ace
Like,
Ventura
it, like,
movie.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Ace
Everyone
Ventura.
saw him.
Yeah.
Ace
that was
Ventura
why.
huge.
That was why.
They were the
Because
band
that was
friend in
that
that
band was
movie.
like, that's how they get, like, I mean, granted, they were big already, but that was their, like, segue into mainstream
Yeah.
where everybody talked about it. Like, dude, you see that Ace Ventura movie? Dude, this fucking band. That's a real band.
Right.
Like, that wasn't just a
And
movie gimmick.
depending on which cut of the movie that you saw, too, either he sang with it with them on stage and then fucking jumped into the crowd, or he
Yeah,
just
I've
was
seen that.
kind of bouncing around. The first time I saw it, it wasn't the cool one. And the next one, I'm going, holy shit, he's fucking into it.
He's up there deep throating that microphone.
Yeah, I seen him on some talk show when he was talking about being into Napalm Death.
Yeah.
Dude, he was on our it was on Arsenio Hall.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
right,
that
yeah.
interview. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that
talking
clip
about
still
loving
floats
black
around
metal.
on
Yeah,
Facebook.
it's funny because
Yeah.
he's actually pretty good at it for
Yeah.
you know
fucking-
Jim Carrey,
that's
random
pretty
white
sweet.
guy doing
Yeah.
death metal
Right.
vocals. You know, yeah,
Yeah, he's good at a lot of shit though. That dude's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
agreed.
But that was my like first segue into something really just guttural and heavy and just hateful for whatever fucking reason. Like you would want to write something grotesque and pissed off, and it's all just go ahead and do it.
Sure.
And I was like that was awesome. Then that kind of got me into other bands and figuring stuff out. And at that time, I think shortly around that was when Napster. I think it was around. There was always that kind of similar bands or other stuff. You go to download something and something
It
else
would
ends
pop
up coming
up because
with
they
it.
put
And
900
Yeah.
bands in the search bar for,
Yep.
for the track.
and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
What's
you'd
this
be like,
one?
oh, what the hell
Like,
is this? Yeah.
yeah, it's like you just click on like 6 of them and wait for that sweet dial-up connection to download
Have
by
like
like
20 of them
next
going
week.
all at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Leave
It's
the
like,
computer on for an hour.
don't pick up the phone. I'm trying to download some music.
Hello?
Getting that new Disturbed album right now.
Who is this? R2D2? Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Dial up. Oh,
Oh
man.
yeah, we're old as fuck.
Yeah, dude. I remember watching porn on dial up, dude. Fucking shit going. Boom.
Like, oh, titty. That's a titty. That's a titty.
Buffering.
Oh, yeah. She's
Buffering.
taking it all. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good
It's
shit.
like, God, I can't wait to see this boob, and it's like, no, it's a bald guy.
And it was like a step, like 10 steps
Still
forward
jerk
from
off to it.
watching Channel 99 when you were like 10 and just waiting for the screen to kind of focus for a second. You're like, oh, titty, titty.
Yeah,
It was
hell yeah.
perfect.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That's top notch kid shit.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
Shit.
You're shifting back and
Late
forth from
night.
fucking channels.
Yep. 99 and MTV. Like, you know,
We
11
grew up in that era.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Dude,
awesome.
you're straight up pervert.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I was that guy too.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna
Booby!
click a
That
catch
was it.
titty,
Yep.
and I'm back to Beavis and Butthead.
And now we can, now you can find 2 chicks pooping on each other from your cell phone.
On your cell phone in like 5 seconds.
Except for Matt, because I mean he's got that sweet
flip
phone.
Yeah.
Keep it
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah, man. That's Star
I
Trek
mean,
shit right
I'm
there.
surprised
sure
that
is.
green screen on that thing still works.
That's awesome. How about you, man? How'd you get started?
Yeah, so I was in kind of a musicless household. No one was into music at my house. I actually started playing the drums because I wanted to get out of class, and I found out in 6th grade, one of my buddies kept leaving, and I asked him one time where he was going, and he said he was going to band lessons.
Did he put his head down? Like,
No, he just goes, I was going to band lessons. I was like, oh, I don't know, you're in band, what do you play? And he's like, the drums. I'm like, oh. And you get to leave like a half hour.
with the fat
like,
girl who
almost
plays the
every day.
tuba?
I literally just wanted to get out of class. I'm like, yeah, I go play the drums, whatever.
That's
so I
her just
literally
farting.
just did that, and then, you know, and as far as like musical influence, I just, whatever MTV told me was cool, I just rode that
Amen.
shit. I didn't really break off into seeking out new bands until like the end of high school. I mean, literally, it was whatever MTV, because back in the day, MTV,
All right,
all the young kids used it.
so let me stop you. So where did you start? What was the first like really cool video that you remember seeing? Like, fuck, that's sweet.
Probably Bulls on Parade, or that, what's that fuck, Bullet with Butterfly Wings?
Oh, yeah.
That
Smashing
song?
Pumpkins.
What everyone's like
Yeah.
climbing that
God, that
mountain.
video's the shit.
Yeah, those, I remember that. And Bulls on Parade, I remember that music video. I would sit and watch MTV
All in black
waiting
and
for
white,
that
both of
freaking
them.
video to come up. I'm like, come on, when are they going to play this? Like, just waiting for that one to come
Yep.
up. So, I mean,
Or
yeah.
Freak on a Leash.
But
Well,
again,
that was a
even
little
that,
later,
though,
but
yeah.
yeah, sick
I
video.
wasn't playing drums. I wasn't huge into me. I mean, music was fine, but it wasn't like a huge influence on me till later on. I don't know. It's just once I started playing the drums, you know, once I sat down and actually played on a drum set to be in like jazz band,
Sure.
it just clicked right away. And then I don't know. I just loved it and played it ever since.
Like it just fucking sparked you. That one.
Yeah, I guess I always enjoyed it. And,
So once that spark hit, what were some of the bands that like?
yeah,
just
then what got
snatched you
moving
up?
was like a 40 Below Summer. That was the first band I ever heard like truly screaming. That I was like, okay, this is really cool. Static X, Seven Dust.
Played with all three of those.
First time I
bands.
saw
Nice.
that Dig video by
Dust.
Mudvayne.
Hell yeah.
I played
Oh,
those
yeah.
With the epic scream.
Me and Chad partied our asses off above the fucking what is it? Used to be called the 410 Club over in Minneapolis. It's just Tropics used to be on the one end. It was
Gotcha.
like, okay, so here's Target Field.
Mm-hmm.
You cross that little bridge, and there's there used to be a strip club right there. Right above there, he'd all come. They had was it the Sound Gallery is what it was called back in the day. Blackfoot Diesel played there. Give. There's a bunch of fucking bands
Nice.
that played above this strip club, and we hung out there and got all fucked up. And their lighting guy threatened me and told me that I wasn't supposed to give him any more drugs because he was running butt naked down in Uptown.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
because they were in town recording their second album, and fucking he's like, dude, you can't get him all fucked up anymore. I'm like, he's a grown man. He likes to party. What do you want me to do? He gets naked and runs down the street.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's when they
that's pretty sweet, man.
They
Yeah,
were really into drugs back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Mudvayne? Not so much now, right? I mean,
yeah. No,
not as bad.
they all clean themselves up for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than the drinking, I'm assuming.
Oh
I
yeah.
think
When
Chad's
you're in a
still-
band with
Yeah,
Vinnie Paul, I don't think,
you're
you
kinda
can
forced
not
to
drink. Yeah.
So I mean, to this day, I mean, what are some of your?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean now I live.
See, I can't even imagine that, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
from
it's-
from the very second I found something cool, I had to show my buddy, like, hey man, you got to check this out. Hey,
Yeah,
check it out.
absolutely. Like, I mean, once I got, 7th grade, 8th grade, once, that's when Slipknot came out, Korn, I mean, the Significant Other album, just like, that got me, like, over the top into music.
Right.
It was that one, and it was the Hard Knock Life song. What CD was that?
On what?
Rap song.
You're talking Jay-Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
That
The
CD came
Blueprint?
out, that
that
CD
Blueprint?
came out the same time
remember.
Significant
That's
Other
not-
did.
it's
And
farther
those
back
two
than that.
CDs,
It's not on Blueprint.
I was constantly listening to those two CDs back then, but
The
yeah.
Life and Times of
And it
Sean
just-
Carter
it might
be
or whatever.
Life and- yep.
Yeah, is that
I
what
think
it is?
everything just got progressively heavier. So it's like Limp Bizkit, okay, now we got Slipknot, and it just kept moving up to the next. And then it's funny because I look back, I used to think like Push It by Static X was next level.
Right.
And
It
now you go
was.
back to that. Same with the Beautiful People and shit. You go back and listen and it's like, well, this wasn't fucking heavy at all.
Right.
That first Slipknot album still holds true, but I mean, a lot of that is laughable compared to the stuff you hear now, where it's just a joke how heavy bands are now.
Right.
But yeah, it's
As a drummer, I would think, now you said he played in jazz band. Is that what you said?
Yep.
So how, I mean, time signatures and things like that, and then you get to the new metal stuff like that, and where it's still funk. It's still kind of
Yep.
They're still getting it. I mean, the bass and drums are primarily funk.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
my drum go-to always was Morgan Rose from Seven Dust.
Right. That dude is
showmanship-wise,
phenomenal. Back up
insane.
singing too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That dude was fucking great.
And he hits. I mean, only Vinnie Paul I think comes close to him with how hard he actually hits everything.
Yeah.
If you ever seen him,
Vinnie
He actually-
Paul's a fucking on another level.
Well,
too.
and
That
he
dude's
plays.
fucking-
Vinny plays with his sticks backwards, those custom sticks that he has, so he can use that fat ass end of
Mm-hmm.
that stick. And then Morgan plays. He's got his own stick made by Vader. I think it's called. Yeah, I think they're called Alien Freaks, I believe. And it's just a double-ended butt end of a stick.
Right.
So that way he can be throwing those things all over the place and flipping them and smashing shit.
Clubbing
and they
people,
hit
getting on stage.
loud as hell. But I mean, he is unbelievably intense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so he was always my favorite drummer. Like
Sure.
always my favorite drummer. Of course, I got back
Live,
in.
that dude is fucking on point.
Amazing.
Yeah, really
Amazing.
on point.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a bad Seven Dust show ever.
No,
I've seen them a handful of times, and they're fucking phenomenal every single time.
I have only seen him twice, but I can't. You can just stare at him the whole time because he's his own show the whole time.
I
He's
got, a
just
story, I got a
unbelievable.
story for you when we get off air again. So you'll be surprised. It's kind of crazy. How about you, boss? How'd you get started with the?
The singing bit?
No, just
So,
everything.
the talent.
Jeez.
Yeah, how'd you become so talented?
Well, it all
When does it
starts,
start?
one
Excuse
dark
me
and
while I
lonely
go
night.
throw up.
So for me, I don't know. I grew up on hair metal. My old man was always about Van Halen, Motley Crue, of course, and then some of the other ones that he always bagged on. But for me, it was the showmanship. It was the arena rock. It was the chicks, the drugs. See the videos, and you're like, these guys party so hard, and that's kind of what got me into it. And then of course the guitar players during that era were so overlooked, really, because there was the band sucked so bad, but the guitar player just shredded.
Right.
We're like kind of like Extreme or something like that. We're like their band is cool. They've got a couple of great songs, but it's all about not Yngwie Malmsteen. Who's in that one? The guitar player for Extreme.
Nuno Bettencourt.
Nuno Bettencourt, yeah, and stuff like that. Where I was like, these guys are amazing. So. I always get crap from these guys all the time because I play a lot of air guitar.
Sure.
So
And then
it started
Billy
back
Sheehan
then.
on bass.
Dude,
right?
That's my dog. Dude, fist back.
Billy Sheehan, dude. Have you ever heard of the Winery Dogs?
Yeah, those guys shred. Don't they have
Oh
what's
my
his name
God,
from?
dude.
God, what's that drummer dude that's in like a million other bands?
Marco
No.
Miniman.
He was in that really crazy band that Conwell's into. Can't remember the dude's name right now.
Oh, Dream Theater.
Yeah, Dream Theater. He was
yeah.
like drummer.
Mike Portnoy?
Mike
Oh,
Portnoy.
Mike
Isn't he in the Winery Dogs?
I'm
Or
not
was?
sure. I'm not sure.
thought
Mike
it was.
Portnoy's been in every band.
Right, that's what I mean.
That's
He was
fair.
Anyway.
Sick drummer.
He was
though.
probably in
Sick,
it.
yeah, exactly. Still playing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it started, and then I got into guitar, so naturally it was Metallica right away. Nobody got better than that. And then once I discovered Pantera, that was when I went from like liking rock and roll and like hair and big arena rock to like this is the heaviest shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Right.
Like the first time I heard Walk, I was like 10.
Sure.
You know, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And I'm like, Jesus, like all I knew was respect, Walk.
Yeah.
And I know that my old man was like, yeah, yes, dude.
Right.
Like he knew that I knew the words to it. And Dimebag is, without question, in my opinion, the best metal guitar player that's ever lived. And I say that loosely because there's always going to be arguments for who's better and who's
Sure.
not. Anybody all day could say it was Steve Vai or Nuno Bettencourt or whoever the hell.
Right.
But to me, it was the show. And it was like
Yeah,
you
but
see him on stage, and he was just a
dude,
fucking monster, man.
You gotta
Like,
think, man. There's guitar players who have other people to back them.
right?
He never had anybody backing him but Rex. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that is
saying,
true.
man?
Yeah,
Rex
he was
was
kind
an
of playing
OG
the
gangster.
Yeah,
And that dude
he's a
is-
badass bass player
Rex
too.
shreds.
No credit.
Yeah, and that's where it all came for me. And then it was, of course, the new metal scene. Once that happened, I was already starting to get into rap. I was into, all this Eminem and Beastie Boys and stuff like that. I was always into that. And then new metal kind of brought it all together for me, so I could, keep enjoying metal because I was kind of stuck in the past and always was until I kind of met these guys. I was stuck in the Panteras and the Megadeths and stuff like that. But then it was, Limp and Korn, Deftones a little bit. I wasn't overly into them, but they had a few rippers that I enjoyed thoroughly.
I pretty much shoved the Deftones down his throat.
Yeah,
that's my
that's
favorite
true.
band of all time.
And then it was,
Sounded really dirty there for a
it's
second.
true.
It was very dirty.
And then,
Down his throat.
It gets dirtier.
and then one night we were all partying, just hanging out. We were hammered, drunk, and Step Up from what the hell's that? Drowning
Drowning
Pool. When they
Pool.
got that new singer, they were terrible, but that Step Up song hit the radio, and I kind of screamed a little bit, and we were hammered, and Matt was there, and he was like, "Holy shit, dude!" He's like, "You want to join the band? You ever been a singer?" And I was like, "No, not a chance," And went there, shredded my voice, couldn't talk for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And in between, I started to learn. And the bands that got me to want to scream were Kill Switch Engage and Chimera and those bands where I was like, holy shit, man, this guy is a fucking monster. Corey Taylor, of course. And then slowly but surely met these guys. And then they showed me the wondrous world of metal after that. And yeah, kind of just been... I tend to be with Mitch when I bounce around a bunch. For me, it was all about the ska scene, like No Doubt, Real Big Fish, 311, shit like that. I was really into that for a really long time, and
Sure.
yeah, I got a good flavor when it comes to music. But yeah, without these guys, I would have
Now with
never known
heavy vocals, how have you conditioned yourself to
keep the distance or
yeah.
go the distance.
I mean, just like anybody who's never been involved in a band,
Yeah.
or hears you for the first time.
Sure. So
Their first question is, how
do
the
you do
fuck
it?
can you do that for
Yeah.
as long as you do?
Lots of throat exercises.
yeah,
Yeah.
lots of warming up the vocal cords.
It was that DVD, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was the
Melissa
shredding.
Cross.
Yeah, the Zen of screaming is what I did, and really took it to heart for a really long time. Like, did all the exercises, did all the stupid shit that like you feel dumb doing, but then after a while you just kind of find yourself. And the thing I always try to tell every vocalist is don't be that guy. Don't be him. Don't scream like him. Don't scream like him. Learn how to scream and do it yourself. You're never going to sound like him. You're never going to be that way. And that was something I had to learn over the years, is that I'm not Phil Anselmo. I can't do lows like that dude from, what's that T-Rex band that you guys love, Delusions of Grandeur.
yeah.
I can't do shit like that, Like, I just can't. I can do sweet highs like,
I hear a lot of people refer to like Randy Blythe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that dude's
He's a monster. He's one of the best.
The first time I heard that dude's voice, I was like, "Holy fuck, this dude can bellow!"
Right.
And then you see him, and he's like
tiny
he's a
little
little
frail,
twig.
skinny
Yeah, he's
white
a
guy.
little dude, you
And
know?
that's exactly
Yeah.
it. I would always caution any kid out there listening right now, or anybody that's trying to be a singer, is just be yourself. Learn how to sing without destroying your voice, and just make it your own. That's the only thing that you have in the band and being a singer is your voice. That's it. You can't influence these guys. They're always just going to write what they're going to write.
Right.
You know, and you just have to sound unique, because that's what everybody's listening to. When they hear the same old vocals over and over, they don't give a shit. But
Yeah.
when was the first time you heard Chino? You were like, fucking A, dude, Chino.
Yeah.
Corey Taylor, Randy Blythe, people
Right.
like that stuck out because they weren't the same.
Right.
And that's the way you do it without shredding
the
yourself.
thing that one of the guitar players from Marilyn Manson was a friend of mine for a long time, and we goofed around, and he said to me one time, we were just drinking and shit, and he said, hitting what you can hit, all the shit that you love, you're going to try to emulate that dude's voice.
Yep.
And you're going to hear it in your head, and that's what you want to sound like, and you're going to push your voice so far out of its own realm that you're going to hurt yourself, and then
Right.
it's going to take you that much longer to get back to where you need to be.
Exactly.
If you stay where you can, and mine is mid, all mid, nothing. If I go high for too long, if I go low for too long, it's done. My mid is even fucked. So if I stay mid and then whack, squawk here and a deep whoa at the very end of something, I can control that. But the breathing part of it and being able to really fucking mitigate how much push you're going to put on it.
Exactly.
And what people don't understand is the hearing part of it is huge. If you're not able to listen to shit with your earplugs in or with ear monitors or to have no monitors, and we all know when you're playing shows, you don't have shit to hear. You got to
Yeah.
know what you sound like. You know what I mean?
here, in
Exactly.
here, yeah.
Inside yourself.
Yeah.
And the more you get into it, the smaller the room, the more energy you feel inside the room. Or if they're not feeling you and you're upset about something, you know what I mean? It all fluctuates so much. If you've had caffeine, if you fucking, you know what I mean?
Drank too much.
You smoked, if you drank too much, you know what I mean? That kind of shit. I've been
It's
there
happened.
a million times. But like you said, if you're not you and what you're doing and not trying to emulate what everybody else is doing, that's when you fuck yourself up.
Agreed.
And there's a
100%.
lot of bands out there that are international big bands, whether they're from Europe, from around here, whatever, and their singers have had to quit
Yeah.
what they love doing because they have completely destroyed their vocal cords, where it gets to a
Right.
point where they go and talk to a doctor, and the doctor literally says, if you continue to do this, you will
Lose your voice permanently.
forever.
Yeah.
Dude from Amir, Frankie Palmieri, dude. That Amir was like one of my favorite bands, and I finally went to see them for the first time. Frankie Palmieri comes on stage, and he picks up the mic, and he says, due to doctor's orders, I
can't do
cannot
shit.
perform. So
That's
this
fucked
dude's
up.
filling in, and I was fucking just pissed. I'm like,
Crushed,
dude,
yeah.
I wanted to see this band for so long, and I finally, had the chance to actually see them, and I couldn't see them with their singer.
Right.
I mean, the dude who filled in for him, he shredded, but I made it for like 3 songs, and I was like, I can't listen to this shit. I'm out.
Right.
Plus,
Yeah.
and then after them, I think it was Suicide Silence was coming on stage, and I had never had the chance to see Suicide Silence with Mitch, and I didn't want to even ruin that. Like I was like, I can't see them with their new vocalist because I never saw them
Even though he
with.
shreds.
Yeah,
Their new shit sucks,
I
by
just
the
wasn't-
way.
Yeah, their
Oh.
new shit is just horrible. It's
Dude, that link you guys
God.
sent me today, I was like, oh, what happened to this band?
But when we were
Holy
sitting out in the
shit.
parking lot, I was reading like a little review on it, and it was about how they wanted to go back to like the raw sound, everybody in the same room, no click track, and like all that's admirable to an extent. But
Right.
If you can pull it off.
Yeah.
right, and see, and then
Metallica couldn't
everybody
even do
keeps referring to that one song that they've released so far as their Saint Anger.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's already gone to that point.
it's pretty awful.
I didn't. It's.
You get that. and you're
I mean,
done.
it sounds like if somebody was trying to be like a really shitty like Korn ripoff with like a little bit of deathcore
Yeah.
kind of thrown in there, but it's. I see what they were going for,
Dude,
but from what they were, with how just fucking raw and brutal that band was off like the Cleansing and everything, like
Dude.
they were so fucking heavy.
I hate this band, but Avenged Sevenfold is that
Same
dude.
thing.
That dude's voice was
Shredded
so much heavier in the beginning.
Way
Oh,
better.
yeah.
There's a
And
prime
now it's
example too.
fucking
Ruined
It's
his
horrible.
because
voice, can't do it anymore.
he ruined his voice
Yeah.
from screaming because he was screaming incorrectly, and then. From what I remember reading years back, is that he went and saw Axl Rose's
Yeah.
vocal coach, and that's why he sings like Axl Rose. And
Well, I'm Phil Anselmo.
I
same
personally can't stand Axl Rose.
No,
His
nobody
voice,
can. I don't
it's
think
terrible.
Axel can stand Axel.
That's why he just
an
goes on
asshole.
stage whenever he wants because he's like, dude, I got to do this. I got to get it over with.
Fuck you, dude. I hate you. You suck.
Screaming in the mirror.
Let's go
Yeah.
play.
Okay.
No.
2 hours from now,
Yeah.
when I'm done with this pack of smokes and this whiskey.
Let's watch Grey's Anatomy and we'll be back.
What's he say?
hilarious.
Welcome to the jungle. We got lots of cake.
Yeah.
Isn't that the,
Yeah, I
the
think
meme?
that's the words.
Yeah.
That's hilarious,
Poor
man.
Axel.
Yeah, wow.
That's
He brought it upon himself.
He really did, man.
Truth.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
So that's killer, man. You guys have a wide spectrum of musical likes. I still can't believe yours, though. That's just crazy.
Right?
My whole
Middle
life, dude,
American
I've
Catholic
got-
town boy. Like,
Dude,
Yeah,
I've
you know?
got friends, man, that I grew up with where I would go in their house. I mean, when I was a kid, there were records playing all the time. If it was not at my house, it was at my grandma's house, my uncle playing rock and roll, my mom playing R&B, you know what I mean? It was constantly music playing and people dancing and singing and doing shit. And I'd go to my friend's house and there'd be nothing. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on
Yeah,
here?
no,
really
I-
quiet
I-
in here.
Crickets, man. Yeah, you know.
Don't get me
nothing.
wrong. I was and still to like I said, I followed whatever MTV was
Sure.
shelling out.
Sure.
There was never a point ever where I wasn't constantly listening to music.
Right.
Constantly with my, you can shake that CD player for like 5 seconds before it skips.
Right.
And they came out with like
Anti-skip,
that,
yeah.
15 seconds
Yeah.
of anti-skip.
Just murdered
Yeah,
your
do
battery.
you know how rough it was to mow a lawn with that thing? Chuck?
Terrible.
So what I used to do
Put it on
is-
tape.
Yep, I would take
Yeah.
my CDs. I remember taking a bunch of shit from like I think I put the whole Rob Zombie Dragula that Hellbilly
Deluxe,
I
yeah.
put that whole thing on a cassette so I could mow my lawn while I listened to that.
This is the greatest album to mow
Yeah.
lawn to ever.
Ever.
You gotta find. You
Hybrid
gotta
Theory
find
from
Actually,
Linkin Park.
last summer is actually what he's talking about. Yeah, that's what he did.
that
this.
new CD. Yeah.
For sure.
You had to find one that was right for your lawn. We did a bunch of landscaping, and then once we did the landscaping, the lawn got a lot smaller. And then after that, it was a Spine Shank album that was the perfect
Dude.
amount
Oh,
of
yeah,
land.
Spine
The one with synthetic
Uh,
on it?
yeah.
What's the name of that album?
Height of
Height of
Callousness.
Callousness.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's
God,
a
that album
great
fucking
album.
That's
shit.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
great
That's the
album.
best album.
Johnny Santos,
Dude, Johnny
man.
is super cool.
Monster.
man.
Silent Civilian.
He was
Yeah,
dating a
those
chick from
guys.
here for a while.
Damn.
Super cool, dude.
You
Super
li-
cool.
you've
dude.
listened to Silent
Oh,
Civilian
yeah,
then.
yep.
That whole, what was that, Rebirth of the Temple or
Yep.
whatever the name of that
Dude,
CD?
we saw them
Fucking
at
crazy.
the Rock
Yeah, I
way back when they
We got to
When the
meet
Rock
Johnny.
was still a thing.
They were fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Hell yeah.
He at the Rock, he was outside like just getting handed nonstop shots. I remember before they went on stage, remember the Rock had that ramp up the back?
yeah.
There was like two big dudes like dragging his ass and a chick hanging off of him, dragging him into the backstage. And then it was about 5-10 minutes went by, and then that big ass like sweet intro from that CD started,
Yep.
and they came right in with that song, the second song in the CD, and it looked like they hit him with a sailing bag or something because he was spot on. He hits every note. live
Cocaine's a hell of
as
a
far-
drug.
Dude,
right
it
it
had
is,
to have
dude.
been. He sounded perfect. It was like they
Yeah.
just put the CD in, and I didn't realize how good he was at guitar either. I guess I never. In Spine Shank, he played guitar when he started with Spine Shank,
Right.
and then immediately switched to singer. And so I never knew he was that good at guitar. But I mean, he played most of the solos, which is actually really impressive.
Fuck yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Did you guys ever get into what was it Ultra Spank? Did you ever get into
Oh,
them
fuck
guys
yeah.
at all?
Yeah, a little
I was
bit.
a huge Ultra Spank. And that and
Low Pro.
Low Pro. Yep.
Low Pro.
Dude,
Yeah.
Low Pro are the
Yeah,
shit, man.
dude, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't heard any of that newer stuff though. Have you heard
They
any
have
of the
newer
newer
stuff?
Yeah, they have newer stuff.
No, the big appeal for me was like they had that really like the really down tuned heavy guitars, but that dude's voice was
killer.
insane.
Dude, they
the
played
notes
did,
he could hit.
Did you ever get the chance to see him at the 400 bar? Dude, they played the 400 bar.
No, I
right?
saw Nothing
And the
Face there,
fucking-
though.
The whole fucking shit went out, and the dude continued playing the whole shit. The fucking singer's singing over the crowd. He's just singing,
Damn.
and they're just fucking stomping and jumping around. Then the fucking power comes back, right back into it. Dude, it was
Sweet.
awesome.
that would
So
be
great.
sick.
That's awesome.
I got to see Nothing Face at the 400 bar after Violence came out. Holy shit. That's a band for me that's kind of ahead of their time.
Dude, they didn't get enough love.
No.
Honestly,
No.
they were a great fucking band. Nothing Face was killer.
I haven't heard a ton from them, but that "Here Come the Butchers" song is that what it's called? Or,
Yeah.
Dude,
is
that
"Here
song
Come the Butchers"?
wails
Yeah,
so
all
hard.
that
Yeah.
like that whole CD right there is just the shit.
Yeah, that Skeletons. That was like their last
Yeah.
big one. Holy shit, that song was.
Yeah, their stuff came out when the
Brutal.
new metal scene got big, and they were not new metal.
They got
so
swallowed
just
up.
did- yeah, they
Yeah.
got scarfed.
A lot of
Sucks,
bands during
dude,
that
'cause
time
they
did.
were really fucking good,
Yeah.
too, man. Well, let's take a listen to some tunes here. We've got another one from you guys. What is it? Lies and Excuses.
Yep.
Yep.
It says Lies and Excuses Master.
They all do because Mitch forgot to.
That's all good. So tell me about this one.
This was an
thrashy.
old thrashy
Yeah.
song that we had from when we still played in drop C on 6-string guitars. Now we play everything in drop A flat, 7 strings. This is just a song that we carried over, made it heavier, drop tuning it, changed a few things.
Nice.
It's a lot closer to our older style of music. It's got the more thrashy
A
feel.
little more drums, like
Yeah.
a little more like, let's move it and let's get it. Yeah.
It's a mover and a shaker.
And then you guys mentioned Deftones a few times, but what was the appeal of Deftones when they first came out to you guys?
The darkness of it. It was so
Yeah.
like, it was kind of like they were wearing shell toes and shit, and they were like all these like Southern cowboys, and it was just so trippy. I don't know. It was,
I think no other-
Deftones to
no
me-
other
the
band
screaming,
sounds like 'em.
the screaming
that's
too.
what it is.
Gino's scream was so gnarly. Like I don't know. That was totally what it was for me.
Deftones to me, it was they were one of the very few bands that they're like there's those bands that just put you in that mood. They take you to a place where no other band can take you
Right.
mentally.
Dude,
And
that first one, Adrenaline, all
Yep.
from the start
So
to
sick.
start to
Engine
the
number
fucking-
9.
Yeah, I love that
7
song.
words.
Yeah.
Easy, dude.
yeah, it was just they
Around
were
the
that.
Fur. Fuck.
Yep, Around the Fur.
That's a
White
goodie
White
too.
Pony. White Pony is probably always going to be one of my favorites. And that album alone, like they just take me to a place where no other band can take me. And it's
Diamond Eyes front to back
That's
is by
sick.
far my
Such
most
an underrated
favorite.
album.
Dude,
Yeah,
so good.
such a
man.
good album.
So heavy, but all like the ambiance.
That's the
and
one with the
stuff
owl
behind
on it and shit,
Yep.
right? Okay, yeah,
Diamond Eyes
that
is the
CD
shit.
shreds.
and they do have their songs, that aren't that great.
So, what do you think of the newer album, the Gore album? What do you guys think about that one?
That's the one actually. Like, unfortunately,
I don't think I've heard anything.
I
off that.
had a really hard time. Like, I got it and I listened to it twice and I haven't listened
Didn't
to it
click,
again.
did it?
So there's
That's the
one
only
after
time-
Koyo no Kan
Yep,
or
it's
whatever.
called
like-
Gore. They came out with that one.
That one's a good one too. That
Yeah,
Gore.
that's a
Koino
sweet album.
Yokan, dude, that album is awesome, front to back. But this Gore one, they came out with that when they just did their last tour.
Really?
And I picked up tickets for it, and they gave me a free download, and I was like, sweet, I'll download it, obviously. And it didn't do it for me. It was
Dude, even that
too-
guitar player was like, he didn't
Abe.
like the direction it was going. He's like, I thought we were in a metal band.
Yep.
And we went another direction. I was
Yeah.
like, it's okay. It's not fucking.
For what it is, it's okay. For what
Minerva was the same thing for Minerva with me is what it is for Gore. I just
Except-
it didn't
yep.
fucking connect with me for some reason.
Yeah, they went really light.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minerva was on there. That was their
Airy.
self-titled album, the one with the skull and the
Yep,
the
yep,
roses.
yep.
That
Dude,
was kind of like
Hexagram,
that.
that song
That's one of my
shreds.
favorite songs. That
Head
album
up is mine.
was kind of like the same direction, only that still had. I don't know. I like that one a lot better than the Gore. The other one that's kind of like that was that Friday Night Wrists, and that was a very buried album. Like, I don't think that one got a lot of play.
Right.
But there's still some decent ones on there, like Hole in the Earth. That's a really good song.
Right.
And then when they
Hole in the
came,
Earth?
yeah,
Really? I disagree
I like
thoroughly.
that song.
God,
I don't
that
know
song is
why.
so boring.
I like it's boring, but I like that song. So the last time they came here, though, like I thought for sure they were gonna play just nothing but their newer album Gore, and they didn't play shit off that. They played like 2 songs
The
maybe
guitar
off that.
player was like, I'm not
Yep.
gonna go on stage if you play that fucking album.
But yeah, so I've seen them a fistful of times. In this last one, it was at the Myth. That was by far probably the greatest performance I've seen from them. It like the light show was just amazing. Their
That
sound
was my
was
first
amazing.
time seeing them. Was
I
at
didn't-
that
I
show.
didn't
with
what?
them.
get to go to
Yep.
that.
Really?
Yep.
It,
Wow.
it was a very memorable show.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great time.
I seen them at the Quest one time, dude, and we were drinking fucking Irish car bombs all night. We
Word.
spent
Yeah,
like
buddy.
30 of
I'll
them
do it.
motherfuckers. Dude. But they went from the first album, second, they went brrrr, like that,
Yep.
and then back down, and then back up again. I was just going, what the fuck? This
Yeah,
is
they
the
were
best
just-
shit ever.
Yeah, they were
They
just
played
playing
for
goody
like
after
fucking
goody.
3
Yeah.
hours.
Yep.
The first time I saw him,
So
it was
sick.
Family Val in like 2004 or
Dude.
5. And Corey Taylor came out and did Maynard's part from Passenger
right.
and shit. And I was
I
like,
love
this is the
that
greatest band I've ever
That's
seen.
a great song.
Deftones was amazing. And then I saw him at Knotfest like 3 years ago. And they
When
were,
it was raining?
Yeah. And it was so boring. Like they were just kind of standing there. And I was like, God, this is kind of boring. Like,
I
don't-
enjoyed that show.
I didn't say they
I
sounded
also
good.
enjoyed that
They
show.
sounded good. Like they played good songs, but they just kind of stood there and they
You're
seemed
right.
tired.
They kind kind of did.
That
I
one
was just
was-
kind of like, oh, come on, boys, like move around or something. Like I don't know.
They didn't play a lot of bangers on
Right,
the show.
that's true.
It was very
and
mellow.
maybe that was
Yeah.
because I just got done watching Machine Head and Lamb of God
yeah.
absolutely melt my face off,
Dude,
and then
yeah.
they started up, and I was like, cool.
The Machine Head threw down.
Oh
man.
yeah,
They're fucking-
absolutely.
But
Always
dude,
do.
Gojira fucking tore that shit up too.
I don't get it with that band. Really?
Really?
Like, are you a big fan of Gojira?
They're not
kinda-
bad. I like
don't get
that.
it.
What is that? The Mars to Sirius one or whatever. That fucking. I can't even remember the name of it. I have it, but I don't know. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
The new one?
I don't understand
The
the
new one
draw.
didn't-
Like
the new
people
one
are
didn't
so
click with
into
me.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so huge for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to me.
They were one of those bands that I think they had a lot more of like a death metal-y kind of proggy kind of sound originally. And coming out of France, I don't think there's a whole lot of that
Right.
around
Right.
there. But they're a lot more proggy, I think, now. I think music, as far as like musicianship, they're incredibly fucking talented.
Right.
But song structures and stuff, doesn't really do it for me.
Right.
I don't know. Meshuggah's like that for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's
Yeah. They get real
got some,
repetitive,
They
though.
got some incredible shit, like
Incredible,
super inventive.
Yes, but it just doesn't connect with me for
Yeah.
some reason.
Right.
I'm like, it's not. It
It's
doesn't.
cool for like one track,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right.
Maybe 3. I got 3. I'll
Three
give them
max.
3.
All right.
I don't know.
But
Kate-
Gojira's like that for me too. I seen them live and I was like, these guys are fucking badass. I saw them with I think Mastodon at First
I
Avenue.
love Mastodon.
Mastodon. I've seen Mastodon a fucking handful of times. I hated them. I was like, these guys fucking blow.
Can't
and
get
then they
into 'em.
came.
Yeah,
then they
I'm
came
kinda
back
with you. Blood and Thunder is like
on
the
the
only one.
Hunter and then the Hunter and Leviathan. I think it was. Or
Leviathan was like the very first
Leviathan.
one.
That was what was the other? There's like 4 albums before the Hunter, isn't it? 3 or 4.
They
albums.
they did like
fuckload of
a
albums.
2-part like I thought that was them.
I need to get my facts.
Yeah,
right.
I can't remember.
Their drummer shreds, by the way. That guy is something.
Are you
else.
you a fan of Killer Be Killed then? You ever heard of them or
Nope.
it's Troy, the bass player and singer from Mastodon, Max Cavalera,
Oh wow,
the old drummer from the Mars Volta, I believe.
that
Yeah.
band's
Sure.
pretty
Yeah.
cool too.
And the singer from Dillinger Escape Plan, who
Oh, shit.
shreds on guitar.
Damn,
They got some sick fucking tunes.
that sounds hard. What is
Yeah.
it? Killer Be Killed?
Killer Be Killed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you gave
heavy
us a
shit.
CD of them, didn't you?
yeah. I
I
think
feel like you burned some stuff
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
Now you said you guys are big into Seven Dust, yeah?
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good deal. Tell me what drew you to Seven Dust from in the
The
beginning?
music video for Black.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
100%.
The first time I saw it, I'm like, well, I think it was the palm muting.
Yeah.
That whole song is just a giant palm mute
Right.
the whole
Chug,
time.
chug, chug.
Yeah, they were so good at that.
Yeah.
Like that, like the home CD is just
Cover to
loaded
cover.
with that.
One of the best
Like
albums
LaShawn's
ever
voice.
written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
Like I said
such
before,
a strong voice.
Morgan Rose, when he started adding, home, he did a little bit, but then after that, once I got into like Animosity, and he was a very focal point of the screaming portions of their music. Yeah, I took it to
Dude, to
like
see
a
him
next-
doing it live too, he
Yeah.
just fucking banging.
He had his
away.
Britney Spears
Right.
headset on. He knew what to do. Yeah, he's a
Oof,
killer.
I did it again.
Yeah,
And then after the burial, you got some of that on here. Oh,
Oh yeah.
had to.
they're the shit.
Of course.
big
Welcome.
fans of these cats.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
ATV.
They're holding
Who
it down
doesn't-
for us here in the
Dude,
the
I
Midwest
remember
right now.
playing with these guys like when they were fucking kids. And I was like, these kids are fucking amazing. And then the next thing you know, they're gone. And then it's like everybody's going, have you ever seen these guys? I was like, yeah, we just played with them not too long ago. I'm like, what's the big deal? And then all of a sudden they come back and I'm going, oh, okay. They're fucking really stepping it up.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
These guys are tough as nails, man. I think they should definitely get some more love because they're fucking, I mean, they really, really do hold it down for this style of shit.
Oh
They're-
yeah, my God.
they're
yeah.
real heavy.
Yeah, they're like the nicest guys on the planet too.
Yeah.
Like literally stood and signed shit for hours after shows, and like really genuine cats.
Right.
Which kind of embodies the Minnesota thing. Like
Right.
I heard you guys as I was coming in,
nice.
and these
Minnesota
people that
nice,
bag on our scene.
Right.
You know, and I'm totally guilty of this because when we first kind of started coming back as a band again, we were all like, dude, shit's dead, scene's dead, shit sucks. And then as you kind of get welcomed in by random people, DJ and Bill and people like that started kind of grabbing onto us, and it was like, damn, this is like a little family here. There's a bunch of people supporting
I
the
really
scene. Like, it's so cool.
I like
like
to hear you say that, but I hate the fact that there's other motherfuckers that are on the outside of that
Right.
family group. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I had Mike Bloodfist in here and Matt Rutherford and Mycera in here, and they're doing their own promotional stuff and they're setting up shows all over the place. But to have those guys say exactly what you're saying is it is a family bond, and that's what they're trying to do is open it up like a family, like come and be a part of what this is all
Right.
about. You know?
I agree.
And here's the deal: like, we've only met this fistful of people, like this small group, and we know there's a shit ton of other bands and people out there in the scene,
Right.
and we just haven't gotten back into it deep enough
Right.
to meet anybody else. You know, we've only really played like 3 shows
Right.
this whole last year. And I mean, one thing about the Medis, you know, you got all these haters and shit. We're probably not nominated for anything,
Right.
but all 4 of us will be at the Medis,
Right.
you know, to check it out and to, you know, meet
Rub elbows, man.
meet
Shake some hands,
everybody.
kiss some babies and shit. You know, like you know, get
Exactly.
presidential.
Touch tips.
Sweet baby, you got the
We want to meet everybody. We want to hang out with all these bands. We want to play shows with all these bands. You know,
Right.
Let's make the family bigger. Let's all unify. Let's all get together. And
Right,
kick
you
it.
never like you can't build unless someone brings you in, right? It's like when one of your friends is like, "Dude, I got this dope party we got to go to. There's going to be 8 million people there," and you're like, "I won't know anybody."
Right.
But it's all you need is that one person to bring you in, and the next thing you know, you're doing shots and tits are flying everywhere. And it's the greatest party you've ever been at.
The
and that's
funny
how
thing
it feels.
is that you know, like Bill, I seen him doing his thing, and we were kind of chit chatting on Facebook and shit, and I didn't even doing the podcast for 4 years. I only know a handful of broadcasters, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, dude, I'll swap links with you. You know, let's make this shit happen. Let's help each other out. Whatever you're doing,
Yep.
send me a link. I'll fucking put a you know picture up there. They'll link to your shit, whatever. And with Bill, I was like, dude, we gotta. You know, I even tried to have him come in here and be a co-host with me, and he's like,
Oh, nice.
I just don't, I don't talk. You know, Bill's chill. You know, he's
very chill.
real quiet.
You know,
Yeah.
but you know, like Langen, I contacted
She's
her,
so
and I'm
cool.
like, you know, and I see this all these people like bagging on her for her, you know, her honest opinions
opinion.
about,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's what I admired about the things that she said was like she wasn't afraid to, she wasn't mincing words to how she really felt about it.
Yeah, she wasn't
and that's what you got to
sugarcoating
be, you know,
anything.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and. The first conversation that I had with her, you know what I mean, where we're talking and it was like she goes, Bill just said you're a really cool guy and this will be fun for me. And you know, and I'm like,
Yeah,
solid.
that's what's
I'm like,
up.
that's what's up. You know, fucking that's the shit. Same with
He
DJ.
said Mitch was a cool guy.
No, he said that I was a cool guy to Langen. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
all
I
right.
was like, that's the way it was. You know,
Yeah.
that was cool for me. That you know, it was the opening of welcoming. You know,
Connections.
Right.
yeah,
Connections.
connecting it like that.
That's the key, man.
And DJ was the same way too. You know what I mean? Like I had seen their stuff, and you know, Bill kept saying these guys are onto something big. They're going to do some cool shit. You know, and he was starting to do some, you know, setting some shows up and doing all that shit. That's the best way. You know what I mean? And like you said, to build something, you got to have somebody let you in the door first. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
And then
Exactly.
once you become friends with all of those, you're going to start throwing ideas around, and it's just going to spawn from there. And that's the intention of this podcast, is to get, you know, everybody involved and
Right.
wanting to be a part of it. And again, you know, like we were talking about before with the Medis or any other show, you go to the show, people come check out your band, they walk up to you, they shine you a little bit, hey, good job, you guys did great, da 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 da, and that's the extent of the conversation.
much.
So they don't get a chance to talk to you about
Yep.
what, you know, what you're into and how you got started. So this platform is what it's all about, the
absolutely.
long
Truly.
form of bullshitting. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know you cats at all, but we're here and we're fucking spitting love and spitting fucking knowledge to people who are taking the time to listen to this shit. And you know, I mean, this is a live cast. I mean, other people are out going to shows right now, but as we upload it, people are going to download that shit and pass it on. You know what I mean? And I really do hope this Medis thing really takes off for Bill's sake and for our sake as a whole community. You know. Because that's what it's all about is the community of it all, the family part of it all, uniting to make something big. You know, I mean, we've got the Princes and the American Head Charges, and I mean, After the Burials, and you know, the bands that have already made it. People that it's in their ear. You know, Minnesota's got some cool shit, but there's so many other talented musicians in this
agree.
town that don't get any shine at all. And the Medis
Dude, Roads of
is-
Glass, those guys shred so hard.
Dude,
I've heard good things. about
Oh
those guys,
man, they're so awesome. And then earlier too, you were mentioning that show at Lee's Liquor Lounge or
Yeah,
whatever. That
yep.
that Kobaloy band shreds too.
Yeah,
Like
they're
we
really
played with
good.
them a couple of weeks ago, and
St. Cloud.
yeah, they rip, man.
Yeah.
Those
They
guys
throw
are
down.
super cool. Yeah,
Super nice guys. too.
yeah,
Super
yeah,
nice
really
guys.
nice guys.
And they got a Frenchie in their fucking band too. We were talking about,
Yeah,
there
Gojira.
isn't much shit going on for French bands, but yeah, he's a cool cat too. So let's take a listen to some music. Stick around, folks. We got a lot more stuff, and we'll be back. Meow. What's going on, folks? Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 148. Failing to wake. Hopefully these guys, you guys having a good time yet or what? I don't know. Hold on. Let me turn your mics on because I'm a horrible host. So how you guys doing? Good. Awesome. Awesome. I hope you guys are having a good time. Folks, do me a favor. Check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. There is an episode tab that has all of the podcast up. 147 was the last one. The three-headed monster or Beast, I think it was Beast was what they coined it as. Mike Bloodfist and Matt Rutherford and Mysera, they were all talking about their perspective companies and the Twin Cities metal scene and how we need to unite as a group to get this scene to where it needs to be, I think. And it is well on its way. All the naysayers in town talking about the scene is dead, man. You need to fucking open your eyes and get out there and see some shows. And it's sad because there are people out there that are going to shows and, supporting these bands and buying the merchandise and doing all that stuff. Get off YouTube, folks. Stop the YouTube and all the downloading and all that shit. Go and check these bands out. If you want to know what they're all about, listen to some of the tracks. I mean, don't get me wrong, go to the band camps and things like that and check them out, but you need to go see a live band. That's what it's always been about. You think about all those bands you grew up listening to and the first time that you saw them live and how much of an impact they had on you as a musician. And you may have not even wanted to be in a band and you see those people throwing down and really putting their heart and soul into that shit. And how long, I can't even express to you, if you've never been in a band, how long it takes to hone a craft, to learn your instrument, your perspective instrument, and to get 4 to 6 to 9 guys in a room and all put down that effort to create one song, and then to put that shit together and get into a studio, put your time and your money and your effort and your blood and sweat and tears, and to put some shit together and get it out there for people to enjoy. And then when you have 4, 10, 15, 20 people to actually like your shit, or they're somehow connected to what you're saying, it means so much to these guys who do this shit for a living. They really want to we all work shitty jobs, but musicians, what they dream of is to be up there in front of you people and throwing down. Man, when a guitar player closes his eyes and makes that face and hits that note or gets that breakdown and you see the drumsticks go flying in the air, or they're fucking bouncing drumsticks off on little kids' heads and shit like that. That's what it's all about, man. That energy, man. And if you're watching bands that aren't putting that energy into everything that they do, I don't know about you guys, but at practice, do you guys throw the fuck down still?
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, man.
You get
You
that
have a
right part in the
shitty
song.
day. You have a
Yeah.
shitty
Get
day,
rowdy.
dude.
Yeah.
It is the most therapeutic thing for a musician. Guys like us who take the time to put their the writing down and really getting the shit together and tightening it up to throw down. When you hit that note, man, when you hit that part,
nothing better.
It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? When you're on stage and you close your eyes and you know where the drummer's going to be, where the bass player's going to be, guitar player's hitting his shit, and you come in on that vocal part and
Yeah, you
hit
feel
it.
invincible.
Yeah, dude,
You feel like
invincible.
nothing could stop you
Yeah,
at
man.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I may or may not have dabbled in drugs once or twice over the course of my life, and there is
I don't
no
believe you.
greater feeling in the world than performing.
there
Nothing
isn't.
can touch
No,
it. No drug. No anything. No
Right.
love. Anything. There's no emotion that you feel like when you're on stage. You become invincible.
Yeah,
You become
it's-
10 foot.
yeah.
Like
you feel
it's awesome.
you feel like a giant.
Yeah.
It's like Voltron forming
Like you
on
could just
stage.
rip the earth in half. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
it's so cool.
And if the
Yeah.
crowd's feeling, you can tell them to do
Whatever
fucking
you want.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punch that guy next to you, and they do it. Fuck that guy up
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
and they do it. It's something else.
When as a singer, when you can fucking get them moving, or
Yeah.
or you show appreciation for them to move, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? We're up here doing it for you people down there, and I've said this on the podcast a million times, and I'll continue to say it. I classify musicians in 2 categories. one that learns their instrument and plays that motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's not the guy who's the next classification who lets the instrument play them, where they're focusing on what they're doing so much and like lifting their leg over here, you know, a head whip here. The guy who plays the instrument is not looking for that stance or looking for fucking the dude in the crowd. You see the one guitar player who's with the fucking singer, and the singer hits the note and the guitar player, you know, just fucking, that adds, that's like, oh, bam, you know, that smack to the head. You're like, oh, shit, these guys are throwing the fuck down, you know what I mean? That's the shit right there, man. And people need to understand that music in general is a live aspect, man. There's so many bands out there that are great live, and then they try to capture that in the studio, and they miss it by a long shot, man. And,
Or
you
the
know,
complete opposite.
yeah, absolutely.
You listen to that album and you're like, oh, it's so polished, it's so clean. Like, listen to how fucking heavy it is. Like, that drummer's incredible. Like, the guitar player's awesome. You see him live and you're like, damn, dude, like,
how'd you do that?
where that? I thought you could blast. Like, where's that blast beat? Like, I thought you could, you know, you totally
Or
missed
even
the
on-
whole solo.
Oh, even on the flip side of that, or a band you hear on a CD, and you're like, yeah, those guys are pretty cool. And then you see them live, and you're like, fucking A, dude. Like, these guys are awesome, you know? Like, I was a punk in high school, so, like, Cottonmouth Kings was one of those bands for me. Because they were kind of punky and, like,
Dude,
rap
but
rock and
dude,
shit.
when you see them
and then when you
live,
see them
though,
live, they're fucking insane. There's a
Dude.
full band. There's shit flying
No,
everywhere.
their
and they're like-
drummer is playing a lowrider bicycle.
Yeah,
dude, come
yeah.
the fuck on,
Mood
dude.
Dog.
He's got a fucking headlight and he's playing a lowrider bicycle,
Right.
dude. Come
And then it was
on.
like, you know, Pakalika, rest in peace, like doing all his crazy ass
Dude,
robot
yeah,
dances
dude,
and shit.
big,
and
tall,
like,
skinny motherfucker,
Yeah, and then all of a
dude.
sudden it's like a punk riff and
Yeah.
everybody's fucking killing each other, and then it's hip hop, and like that band right there was one of those where I was
and
like,
you
holy
could
shit,
get
I never
high
expected
just
that.
standing in the crowd.
Oh
dude.
yeah, and we did.
You're
And
just
it was
going,
great.
blowing smoke rings, just fucking
Yeah,
breathing and shit.
for sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
That's the good shit, man. Absolutely, man.
The free high.
Hell
Yeah, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn, I hope I'm not going to get drug tested after this show.
No, it's that moment right there. Like, I don't know. I'm sure these guys you've experienced this, obviously. That moment when somebody walks up to you at a show and they're like, here, take this. And whatever it is handing to you at that point, you're like, yeah, totally, man. You could be
Yeah.
smoking
Joint,
straight
dog.
PCP and you would never know it. But I got a party, everybody's good, shit's cool. And next thing
Now
you
you
know,
feel
like,
invincible.
yeah, next thing you know, Willy Wonka's on stage and you're freaking out. And like, you don't know what the hell's going on. But the band shreds and
Dude,
the music's
I
changing.
I walked
you know?
into a bathroom one time and I heard a dude clacking it hard on the
what are you
fucking
doing
toilet.
there?
I go, line me one up. You know, I'm all fucked up. He just stall opens. You want one of these? Come on in, dude. And I was like, it was white. I was like, that looks like it's fucking, dude. 4 days later, I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking seeing
Dude, that was meth, man. You're like, oh no.
Yes, I don't fuck with that shit, man. I'm just at the dude's house telling him my whole life story and shit.
Crying and
This
shit,
One
like,
day,
yeah.
man, my dog
Lighting-
was on fire and I had to pee really bad. Yeah.
Lighting one cigarette with the other, just basically smoking pack after pack. Like,
Been there.
I'm gonna tell you, brother. I'm gonna tell you.
I love you,
know?
man.
Yep. Oh,
I
yeah.
love you. Yeah, absolutely, dude.
How much of that coke we got left? None, bro.
Yep. We're out of gas. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So, as far as the band goes, where are you headed? What's on the agenda?
This is pretty much the end of the road, right? I mean, we're retiring next week. We figure after the metal show, we were just gonna say, all right, guys, it was fun, you know.
Yeah, dude, we pretty much did it all. We're good.
We've done it all. I mean, we
Country music
literally
tour.
we started, you know, as just some punk ass kids, and Matt bought a house, and you know, we drank too much and smoked too much and hung out, and it was just, you know, we thought we were huge back in the day, and we just didn't do it right. But at the time, the scene was so much different, right? It was MySpace. It was Facebook was just starting to get cool.
Right.
YouTube and shit. Like, nobody charged anything for anything.
Sure.
And we did our own CD in a basement. It sucked, and life sucked, and we never really got anywhere. So the steam completely went by the wayside. Then we all started growing up and having kids and buying houses and stuff like that.
But like you said, man, you know, the learning process of it all.
It took
you know,
that to appreciate it, really.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Mitch kind of came back to the band. He had left for a little bit, and when he came back, had a lot of good ideas about social media and just kind of polishing images and things. And then we got 7-string guitars and decided to play an A flat.
A flat.
A
We
flat.
playing A flat now.
Stuff like that. And then they kind of turned me on to some of this newer stuff that they were all listening to, the After the Burials of the World and things like that, Veil of Maya and some of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And said, you know, let's play like this. And that was kind of how it started. And now it's so much momentum built up with the scene, and I know I keep coming back to it, but like Bill and Langan and people like that were kind of like, dude, you guys are awesome, let's rip. We didn't get that the first time around,
Right.
So that kind of like it reinvigorated us all to be like, let's put out a good CD, let's do this, let's do that, and
Well, let me ask you this though. Now with that old thrash sound, in my opinion, that is really coming back full circle, and I think a lot of the stuff that's coming out now is just rehashed from those grooves back then. It's a little bit more polished, obviously,
Right.
and the seven strings are adding another tone to it, another dimension to it. But a lot of those things are things that a lot of these old thrash bands had already done. But I mean, like I said, it's more polished now.
Right.
What made you decide to not stick with that? I mean, I believe Pantera never changed their style. Machine Head, they moved a little bit to one side, but
They went back
they
and-
came back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's so many. I mean, Deftones is a fine example. They have never changed their course. They've stayed solid all the way through.
right, Megadeth. They've like they sound exactly the same now as they did
Well,
like
no,
25 years ago.
they still fell off with a couple albums where
Yeah.
they were trying to be Metallica more popular with it.
Dave.
Arena Rock, poor Dave.
Well,
yeah.
it's true though. I mean, you got to think about it. And you guys were talking about, kind of being a cover band at the time, and no shame in that at all. I mean, there are a lot of older cats, like you said. We're not an old jam band, so we decided to come back into it. My question is what made you decide to switch the style?
I
at
think
all?
for me, it was something that Mitch said. We were at practice when we were doing the cover thing, and he basically said, all right, we're either going full on this and just dedicating tons of time playing the shows with the cover stuff, or let's just drop tune this down and be as heavy as humanly possible.
Right.
And then we basically write, to me anyways, whatever band I'm into at the time, obsessed with at the time, is the way that Follow Me Down. I'm pretty sure we were all cranking Suicide Silence pretty heavy
Right.
while writing that one.
Yep.
And then I started to get more now lately into the the Periphery and the After the Burial, that kind of stuff, more of the gent style stuff. So now we're switching sort of into that. But I mean, we're never going to fully get rid of, I think, the thrash style.
Sure.
Especially because of Justin's voice.
Sure.
It's thrash style. So I don't think we'll ever actually lose that. But we did just a lot of weird experimental stuff in our
Right.
old days.
And this is the thing with people too, is that they think that mindset is taking from these other bands that you're listening to, like you're trying to emulate what they're doing, when it's not the case. You're really just taking the tasty shit that you really like.
Yep.
It's like a recipe
It's
for
an
something really cool.
influence more than anything.
Like, hey,
Absolutely.
everybody can make a fucking cinnamon roll, but if you do it a certain way and
Yep.
you add your own flavor to it, it could be the most cinnabon ever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This motherfucker's 4 feet wide by, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's got sprinkles on the top of it and shit. You know what I mean? I just think that it's, people get, they get caught up in that whole aspect of it. I've always appreciated that, because no matter where you're at, you can hit me up on this one too, because with hip hop and
Yep.
the new metal style of stuff, there is so much tasty, catchy shit in there
Right.
that if you beefed it up anymore, and I'll have to say this, man, Royals, the band Royals,
Yeah, those are our homies.
dumb cats right there are doing something. To me, they have that gent style sound to them, but they still have that flavor of hip hop. To me, it's the right balance of it,
Right.
Dude, I saw him the first time with Nuisance down at Neeson's.
We were there, dude.
there.
Dude, I was like, I was just looking at him like, where the fuck did these cats come from? These guys are badass.
Yeah, we opened that.
We
show.
opened that show.
Sweet,
yeah.
sweet. Yeah, I was there.
The sound guy
Yeah.
was terrible.
Yeah.
Well, that room is fucking ridiculous though too. It's so open and so big, and I mean, even if you have a couple hundred people, it still looks pretty empty in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like
That was a big space.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Space.
I mean, that's a fucking that was a dope show, dude. That
was
a
It
dope
really
show.
was.
Yeah.
They got robbed. Royals got robbed. They
their
didn't get
sound-
any of
their
their
sound guys
their sound.
sucked.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
They couldn't have any of their MIDI tracks. any of
Yeah,
that
that
stuff
was their
couldn't
fault
play,
though.
blah.
That's what they were saying.
Whatever.
But I mean, as far as like the thrash aspect, I mean, we're always gonna have that kind of stuff in our music. Right now, we're still, that EP we just put out, half of that EP is old stuff that we wrote before we had originally, when we broke up. We wrote some of that stuff right before we broke up, and when we got back together, we took those songs and revamped some things and took some things out and rewrote part of this song and rewrote part of that song, and that is what it is. And moving forward now, we're still gonna keep that style, but we're experimenting with other things, and we're basically reinventing ourselves.
Sure.
And that, I think that's something, you know, you have to do to keep going. You just got to reinvent yourself. You know, I saw a clip, some dude, some Gary Evie or some, I don't remember his name, but it popped up on Facebook, and he was talking about, like, you know, he said something like Madonna reinvented herself 14 times
Right.
to get to where she's at, you know?
Old and muscular.
Yep, basically. But I mean,
I still
With a
would.
British
I still
accent.
would. I'm just saying it.
Giant clitoris, dude.
Huge.
Oh,
huge.
Fucking
But yeah,
half a wiener
It's like a
and shit.
thumb.
she's successful
It's
as
a
fuck,
baby's
you
arm
know?
with an apple.
And if you want to be successful, you got to reinvent yourself. You can't, you know,
Exactly
I
right.
like what I heard in the story from the very beginning about how you guys, you know, you were playing other people's music like early. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To where you're kind of finding your way. You know, I mean, it's like a reverse to the middle to the, you know, it's like a flip flop, because
Yep.
a lot of people will play their shit, and then they'll just kind of taper off and play other people's shit, and they kind of taper off and they find other bands and they end up doing cover shit. When you go back to that and you use that stuff as a learning tool, and a lot of people shit on that. They say, oh, well, you don't want to do that. But if you're making money, that's the thing that people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Metal bands that play metal and their own metal, you're making $50, $75, $100 a fucking gig.
If
If
you're
you're
lucky.
lucky.
If you're lucky.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a t-shirt salesman.
Exactly.
Yeah, no
Good
shit.
job.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're a
exactly.
merch salesman.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe,
absolutely.
maybe you get a free burger and a beer.
It does make you
if you-
step outside your element, though.
Right.
I 100% think that that's right. Like,
Right.
there's been multiple times where we're doing covers of fucking Breaking Benjamin songs or
Right.
something, and I'm like, I can't sing that. Are you
Right.
fucking crazy?
Right.
Like, and then I get out there and I practice my ass off in my car, like you were
Right.
saying. That's your
Yeah.
place to jam.
Yeah.
All the time, and then the next thing you know, in the next song, you're writing it a little differently, or maybe you're screaming it a little differently because you were doing it for covering purposes or what have you.
Right.
I mean, it does help a lot.
And when as a vocalist too, when you're finding your range and where you want to be at, and you're doing other people's songs, you know
Right.
that you can either hit this or you're going to do it the way you do it and make it yours. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And a lot of
Exactly.
people want to emulate that vocalist. They hear that song in their head. They're like,
Right.
"Fucking,
I could do
gotta-
that."
I gotta get this this much closer," but they're not. They're not. You know, anticipating. You know, they're
Right.
not anticipating the fuck up on the whole. Deal,
You're
you know?
exactly right. That my high end scream is 100% from listening to Threat Signal.
Sure.
Like that was it for me. I heard that guy's high and I was like, holy shit.
Right.
I'm like, I need to be able to do that, you know. And that was basically the only thing I could ever really do was the highs. Like I can't go that low really.
Sure.
But the high shit, when I hit that first time, you know, you're in the car and you're listening to that. What the hell is the name of that badass song with the gunshot?
Is it Under Reprisal? I know Under
Yeah.
Reprisal was the CD.
That's
but
the album, yeah.
And like you're in the car, and all of a sudden you hit one of those with him,
Right.
and you're screaming at your steering wheel, basically, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Yes, I can do it!" You know, like there's
And you look over, and there's like
Somebody
fucking
looking at you, and they're like,
17-year-old kids.
yeah, dude, sweet.
Yeah,
I've had that happen
Imagine
a couple
having
of
a big
times.
ass gray beard, and you're just
Oh yeah,
you look
playing
over,
air drums.
Yeah, there's fucking some old lady going.
What the hell is wrong with
The
that
fucking,
guy?
yeah, exactly. What the fuck is wrong with that dude? I think it's funny, man.
Oh, yeah.
I've rolled down the window like, fuck you. I'm rocking out over here, bitch. You don't know nothing about that.
Hail Satan.
Hilarious, man. Hilarious.
But yeah, so moving forward, you know, we're just we're trying to push our new EP. We're gonna be pushing that for a while now, and we've been writing new stuff now. And it's a little different. We've been throwing some of that gent kind of style into it. You know, it's trying to experiment with other things. You know, and then
Now, what do you guys think that what is the reason why that particular category is getting so much play? Because I mean, honestly,
groove.
the groove.
it's the groove. It's something you can nod your head to,
Right.
and
It's,
you know,
it's the happy point
can feel
between
it.
metal and hip hop.
Right. Yeah.
So you
Yep.
still have the cool, like, you know, that kind of hip hoppy feel, but it's metal. It's a nice like
Right.
middle ground between the two. Unless you're psychos and you know, anybody can be called gent if you just palm mute
Right.
shit all the time. But like the ones that do it right,
Right.
you know,
Right.
the ATBs of the world and things
And
like that.
I've always looked at like a lot of the kind of gent bands or whatever, that kind of genre, that
Sure.
style of metal. It's it's almost new metal,
Right.
with just a little bit more sauce
Heavier,
on top
heavier,
of it.
Right. Yeah.
And we're
Yeah,
not-
exactly
Did you
right.
say sauce?
Sauce on
A
top.
little bit of hot sauce.
No, I said mistake.
We're not a gent band
Right.
by any means, and we're not trying to be a gent band, but we're playing around with some of it. We're experimenting, and Justin brought up earlier, Roads of Glass, dude, they're kind of
Oh.
genty, and dude, we
Super
saw them.
awesome.
We saw them at Amsterdam Bar for that. It was the Top Secret Metal Fest.
Yeah.
and that was the first time we'd
I've never heard of them.
I
Really.
heard of them, but I'd never seen them, and I heard some of their music online, and we went and seen them. When they hit the stage, dude, those guys are fucking insane,
Yep.
and they are next level. And I don't like to, pick favorites or nothing here and there. And sorry to any of the other local bands if you get offended
Here
by
it comes.
this.
Yep.
Roads of Glass, to me, they're my fucking favorite local band here in Minnesota. Those
Absolutely.
guys shred so hard in their stage performance.
Oh,
is-
great. Here
is
goes
insane.
the fucking Facebook blowing
Yeah,
up.
here comes. Yeah, we're the Medis now. They're gonna start hating on us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't want to play with shows with these guys,
Dude, but no,
No
100%.
wonder Bill picked him to hang out with him.
right?
He's only covering one side of the
Right.
Bullshit of all bullshit. Fucking ass kisser. No, but seriously though, at 100% chance, if anybody would have talked shit to me during their set, I would have punched them straight in the face. Like that
Damn, that's a
music,
bold
that
statement
music
right
like
there.
made me like I threw a hand up. I went to the front of the crowd, like
We were way.
yeah,
into it,
we
dude.
were right in it for that show, and like I don't know, I thought they were great.
They get they get me just hyped as fuck. To
Yeah,
music. And
that's
that's
what I'm saying. Like
this
wanted to get in the pit and
this
you know.
new jam that we're writing right now. Like it's pretty genty and it's got that kind of same feel like what
Mm-hmm.
they got. And the hook on it, when we play it, it just gets me fucking just hyped. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just want to just run around like an idiot, you know. It's
So
sweet.
what was the thought process behind doing just the EP and not a full length?
We didn't really have enough material.
yeah, we didn't have enough songs.
I mean, we had so many originals that just didn't translate to A very well. We could have like redone basically all these other songs, but it was in the interest of time being the one thing and striking while the iron was hot. So we had to we were trying to get back into the scene without like
yeah, when we have
it was kind of weird.
we
how it went
had
down.
a lot of our own original song. We've written more songs than I can count.
right and forgotten
and forgotten
three-quarters of
some,
them,
but
yeah.
but it's like we toyed with the idea of bringing a bunch of other songs back in, but they were so the sound and the style, everything was outdated, and we've grown a lot as musicians and we've grown a lot as people since then, and it's not really.
Like taller?
It doesn't get you.
Yes, I've grown 3 inches taller.
My hairline's
since then.
gone back a
Yep.
little more since then. Yeah.
But I mean, we've all just kind of matured a little bit, and our musical tastes they're a little more different, and it's just not the style we're trying to go with anymore.
Plus-
So we had to leave a bunch of that stuff behind. And, we, like I said, we kept a couple goodies and kind of revamped them a little bit,
Sure.
and wrote some new stuff and
Made 'em
now-
relevant again,
Made them relevant.
basically.
Made it.
Inject a little greatness into
Yep.
them.
And now,
Talent.
Yeah.
Little
yeah,
sauce.
this
Talent,
guy's
yeah.
bringing all the talent.
Not all the talent.
You were just about to say something, and I
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sorry,
had
Matt.
a point.
he kind
bad.
of took it there. No, you're right. It was we kind of went back through the old catalog and we decided we were going to do this, drop tune some stuff, and some of that old stuff just like you said, it
It was
just
too
really
trashy.
It just,
couldn't be
but-
an A.
Yeah,
you know,
and
and that
it
kind
just
of stuff.
didn't translate right. The guitaring there would have been. It's just too
The
fast.
singing
It just didn't
parts.
sound.
and
Yeah,
that stuff just.
it's just
didn't
some of it
work.
had to go to the wayside. But there's a lot of it that we, like you said, we threw on some heavier portions to it, and we still play them live and whatnot. But
Sure.
Yeah, I
we
think-
we scrapped out like 16 songs.
So where
but-
did you record this EP at?
Our buddy that we grew up with and went to high school with and
what's
whatever.
his
His name is Matt Peliquin. He went to school for
Yeah, you went to
all-
IPR.
Music and all
Was it
that.
IPR?
Yeah,
Yeah.
IPR geek. Yep.
He's got a little home studio and
Nice.
Yeah, and he
would,
hooked us up with a
Sounds really
reasonable
good,
price. Yeah, and like he sent a couple of them off to be mastered separately. I don't remember
Yep.
the guy's name who mastered it as well.
Jesse.
For the life of me. Yeah, there you go.
something or
Yeah.
other. But props to that guy.
Yeah,
'cause
props to that guy too.
He made
and-
it sound sweet.
Yeah.
Props to the Jessies in the world. Yo, what's
Yeah.
up, dog?
Super props to Matt.
Pinkman. It was Jesse
Pink.
Pinkman.
Yeah, that's what it
Pinkman.
was.
That's why I song number one is Blue
Remember
Sky.
that VJ from MTV, Jesse, the dude who had like the weird hair? He was that straggly little white boy.
Yeah,
Jesse,
I
do you remember
do
that guy?
remember him.
That was awesome right there. He said, so confident, like, yeah, it was Pinkman.
Pinkman.
All right, yeah.
Right, first track on the
Walter
CD
White?
is Blue Sky
Yeah.
for some random reason.
Yeah, yeah. You Yeah, that was another Breaking Bad reference.
That's
Right
Yeah,
there.
we've made
Yeah.
enough of those. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the cover?
Do we just paid a guy,
That's-
man?
Yep. I got a friend who has his own graphics design business. It's Trend Cities Designs, locally here in Minneapolis. They do a lot of big stuff, more so for like the hip hop
Sure.
side. When we broke up for that fistful of years, I went off and did my own thing. I played drums for a hip hop artist, and I made a lot of connections in that realm, and I learned a lot of things as far as marketing and
They're on
promoting and
some
all
next
that.
level shit.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
definitely they're on it. And this guy, dude, he makes the flyers for all the big name international acts. Like 50 Cent's coming to town, and he made the flyer for that. Like he's making all the flyers for all these dope artists that are coming to town, and he has, it's his own company. He's got other people working for him.
Nice.
So he hooked us up with, I don't even know the guy's name, but it was some guy that works for him. He does a lot of metal band album covers and stuff, and he hooked us up with that guy, and he created a masterpiece. We get
Very cool, dude.
we get so many people just talking about how cool our album artwork is.
I'll show it to the camera.
Yep,
Get
show
the
it to the
bitches.
camera.
Camera right here. too.
Yep, but people have just been latching on just to that image, and it's really cool.
That's very cool.
So shout out to Trend Cities Designs. Shout out to Matt Peliquin.
Absolutely.
for
and
making
and
us sound
the
good.
name. So how'd you guys come up with the name?
Failing to wake.
Failing to wake.
It started as me taking a pee in a
Yep.
McDonald's bathroom. We were all hanging out, drinking, right? We were hammering drinks at your parents' house. or something?
Brian's house where we
Yeah.
originally started practicing.
I don't know if it was a McDonald's run or what the deal was, and we were still trying to think of a name. And I was in the can, and I thought
We came up
I
falling
thought
awake.
falling awake would be kind of cool.
Right.
And then looked
falling
them up,
asleep.
and then
They were a shitty emo band, like
There was like 7 of them.
yeah, and they were all just
MySpace.
terrible, Yeah,
a lot of
MySpace bands,
a lot
yeah.
of acoustic crying about their
Girlfriends
girlfriend
and- yeah.
sleeping
So then
with their sister or something.
It just kind of
who the fuck
evolved
knows?
into, failing to wake, like just playing off of it, and
Sure.
that's kind of how it started. And then the FTW moniker was cool for like a month, where we were like, dude, fuck the world,
Yeah, right.
FTW,
And then it turned into like Friends That Whistle and
yeah, all kinds of other shit,
all of
Find the wiener.
phallic tongue whippings, and that's PH.
Yeah.
That's PH. That's not
well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. That sounded funny.
That's a public education.
Yeah, sure was. St. Michael represent.
Yeah.
But that was actually
best 7 years of my life.
that was kind of a struggle. I remember that point we were sitting there trying to figure that out because every time we'd practice, everyone would come with like 5 new names, and you'd be stoked. You're like, "Oh, I thought of this one today. Bringing this one to practice," and everyone's like, "Nope," and everything. It took us forever, and we were like dangerously close to being ready to play a show. And we're
Can
like, we
you
need a
guys
fucking
remember
name.
any of the ones that fell to the wayside?
Oh no, that was so long.
10 years
ago.
ago.
Cunt Crusher, but it was already taken.
Cunt
so-
Crusher, yeah.
Cunt Crusher.
I mean, that's a song by Infant Annihilator.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Infant Annihilator. is-
Infinite Annihilator, yeah.
that's,
No,
that's
honestly,
taken,
the
unfortunately.
band just before that we were in was Last Driven Impulse, and we all thought that sounded cool. And it was that 3-band thing because so many bands at the time were like Death and OTEP, and it just had like one word, and it was like really simple. So the 3-word thing kind of felt like the way to go at this
Right.
point. Yeah, now it's like Royals and like 1-word bands are starting to come back again.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. We always end up having to say it too many times. Like someone's like, "What's the name of your band, bro?" And you're like, "Failing to Wake," and they're like, "What?
Yeah, if you don't pronounce it right away,
Falling? What?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, that's
Falling
too much."
awake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, failing.
Failing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean like you're dead?
you're failing
Sure.
to wait. No, I'm
Wait?
not waiting on anything. Wake, bro.
Yeah.
Failing to wait.
Should have
Fuck.
just named our band
Fuck
Korn.
this, I ain't waiting,
It's
dude.
fucking stupid.
I'm out of here.
Should have just named it "Go Fuck Yourself."
Yeah, exactly.
GFY.
What's the name of your band? Go fuck
Actually,
yourself.
now you said the rip off the corn thing. I remember, I think it was Justin that said that. He's like, maybe we should just call ourselves Slide Knot, but it'd be slide and then a hyphen and then NOT, and that would be it. It's like, that's perfect. Just rip that
Slide
right
Knot.
off. You get some promotion for that.
And just don't put the K on it. Like
Yeah.
slide, not NOT. It'd be
Fucking
perfect.
Anal Blast used to do that with just taking everybody's logo and then just, they were like Anal of Blast, like Cradle of Filth. Like
Nice.
that with
Nice.
the whole fucking. I think they did. Was it their album was? They did the fucking AOL logo and was like, what is it? Obese 2.0 or some shit like that. Yeah, that's what.
Smart marketing.
Oh yeah, man.
It is.
Until you get fucking cease and assist like Devil Inside when they had their logo, the whole
Yeah,
fucking,
the milk thing
yeah,
or whatever.
they got contacted by
I remember
by
that.
fucking whoever the hell that is. What is it? Intel Inside or whatever it is. their whole little swoopy
Pentium
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, that's
They
right. That's what
contacted
it was,
them and
yeah.
said,
Nope,
Man,
can't
no,
do that.
and they became horror after that, which was already taken by.
I mean,
the 80s.
we briefly had a T-shirt that may or may not
ripped
have
off
looked
the
like the
Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild logo.
right.
It was the greatest T-shirt ever.
Well,
We
we'll
only
look
made
at
like 30 of them.
Reaping Asmodea does that stuff with
They
their,
did that.
their
They
Reaper
did.
thing.
Yeah.
We played a show. What the fuck was that place called? That band from Canada came down and we played with Reaping Asmodea.
Oh, is that
off of
Roberts off 10.
Roberts,
Rob's
yeah.
Off 10?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, and we show up with these cool, we think we're the shit because we got these shirts that look like
Look like
Minnesota,
the Minnesota Wild,
and it's
yeah.
got our logo in there. And then Reaping Asmodea has way more badass shirts that look. They ripped off the Minnesota Wild logo as well.
Yeah.
but
Did it better.
Theirs were way cooler than us. I was like, okay, that's fucking cool.
Looked like we made ours with crayon, and
Right.
theirs
Yeah.
was fucking super cool. And we're like, oh, cool. That's great.
Like, that sucks.
That
And
was
then they
whack
got up
as
there and
fuck.
played, and they're like, yeah, they're a lot heavier than
Yeah,
we
they're
are.
way
They're
cooler
way
than
better
us,
than
too.
us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you guys have coming up for shows? You got something in February, right? The 23rd
Yep.
or something.
February 23rd with Dead Horse Trauma. I believe it's their CD release tour. From what I've been reading, I think they just got signed to Sony, and that's their thing.
Right.
And then I think the focal point of this show. I don't want to take anything away from the other bands, but Portraits of War. I'm sure you know their guitar player Luke. He's been out for a little over a year. Something medical. I don't know the whole story, but
Fungal pneumonia.
yeah, something like that.
No kidding.
Yeah,
On
he's
his
been
deathbed.
on his deathbed. But
I heard that, yeah.
this is his first show back.
Dude, they were talking
It's
about
kind of a
him
big deal.
coughing up fucking phlegm, like cupfuls of it.
Yeah, it's
Like it was filling his lungs were filling up so fast that he had, they had to go in. They fucking drained him, and then dude, yeah, it's
horrible.
real bad.
Damn.
It's
So,
like
yeah.
super super rare to get that fungal pneumonia that he got.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, he's
So
lucky
this
to be
is-
alive.
yeah, no shit.
How do you
It's-
get
it's
something
crazy.
like that? Is it just strictly random,
Luck.
or like is
Want
that like
you really want to know? And I'll put it out there because they really didn't want to say anything, but I'll say it. Fucking Apple River.
no
Was it really?
shit?
Yeah,
Dude, I swam in that river once,
because
high on cocaine.
that particular fungus lives in slow moving water like that.
Yeah.
And all of the fecal
Sick.
matter and the piss and all
Sick.
that shit.
That's
So
why you
how
wear
he
a
got it.
condom
So
when you get into that river.
That's right. You should always have one on anyway. Just for
You
the
really
fuck of it.
should.
I mean,
It's
especially if you got to
horrible.
pee, you can just take it off, throw it at
Right.
the wall,
Yeah, dude,
whatever.
blow it up and
Yeah.
tie it off and fucking water
Trucker
balloon that
bye.
shit. Yep.
But yeah,
It's
so
good to hear he's doing better now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
so that's Luke's first show back.
That's
We want to
huge.
get we
He's
want to
gonna
get
be
we want to get as
Oh.
many people
Dude.
as we can to this show. Just to show him the respect that
Huge
he
line
deserves.
down the sidewalk.
That band is sweet. I've only seen them a couple times, and they're really cool. I'm
Another
really
band that
excited.
butchered their name right in front of them was great. They called them Prophets of War.
Yeah,
Ooh,
And then-
They're
yeah.
like, hey, if somebody takes our name, we'll just go to that one. And I'm like, did I really say that? And they're
Like-
both like,
Profits like money or like profits
Profits
like
yeah.
like religion profits?
I don't know. That's a
You
good,
could do
that's a good
anything.
question.
The other bands
So
playing.
I think we're gonna change our band name. Actually,
Are we? I'm in. The other bands that are playing are The Culture Of. I think you were talking about them earlier.
Yeah, they kill.
They shred. We've heard some of their stuff. They shred. And that's another band you were talking about earlier, about the band names. And I personally had a hard time finding them on the internet.
Yeah.
I would type in The Culture Of, and I would get like the
Culture
culture
Club?
of the culture of Africa or the culture of Eastern Europeans. and
Yeah,
all this,
yeah.
and they just kind of got fucked on their name.
I
don't
was
know.
just typing band
Sucks, 'cause they're
space
sweet.
MN after it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, that's how you can get to it, and
That's
that's,
how
you
I
can hunt
find them
down.
too all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
They're the
and
shit though.
so
I'm
culture
stoked to see
of-
them live.
It'll be Dead Horse Trauma, Portraits of War, Culture Of, Straight Jacket, and then Us.
Nice.
And that's at Amsterdam Bar on February 23rd. I think we will have pre-sale tickets for $10, or else you can get them. You can pay $15 at the door. Yep, show starts at 8. No, doors are open at 8, and show starts at 8:30.
Nice. That's a banging bill right there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
gonna
good
be
time.
sweet.
It's gonna be a fun one.
That's going to be a
We're
good show.
excited. And also, like I said, All 4 of us will be present for the Medis. Come out and just kick it with us, dude. We want to hang out with all of you. So
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm not sure exactly what facet. Bill hasn't told me what's going on. I guess I'll probably stand in the corner with my thumb in my fucking ass or some shit like that. Hey, that's that dude. Look at thumb ass.
Sure.
That guy.
Hey,
Hey,
thumb
ass. Creepy. What's up, Tom Thumb? How's it going? Pull that thumb out. Let me see if it changed colors yet. Yeah. Anyways,
check
but
your oil.
I'm
Depends on how much PBR you drink.
I'm super stoked to be a part of that, and you know, it's a great. We've been kicking the shit out of this thing, but it's a great idea, and you know, I wanted to touch on this too because we talked about this before we went on, and I told Bill about this, and he has really received a lot of flack over this whole deal because there are a lot of butthurt people out there because they think that you know, it's a one-sided thing, and Bill goes to a lot of shows and he supports a lot of local bands in town. And really does his part. I don't really know many more people that does all of that shit. I mean, he really goes and supports and you know, takes pictures and takes videos of people's bands, and he really, you know, he's part of people's videos, and you know, he wants to be a part of this. And the guy has taken this shit out of his own pocket to rent the hall, to get the awards, to put all of these people in the right spot, you know what I mean? And the panel of people that he has, you know, I mean, they're recording people in the recording industry, people that are, you know, either doing podcast or radio shows or, you know, doing some sort of blog or anything like that. I know Langen's involved as well. And it to me, it is an opportunity to really break these barriers that so many people are putting up, you know? And we've touched on that before. If you want to really know what it's all about, come down there. You're listening to, you know, 4 guys that are wide open, man. They want to shake hands, they want to kiss babies, they want to do all that shit. And you know, there's a lot of fucking really cool, talented people. And I can't say it enough, man. Metalheads in general are some of the most intelligent, cool motherfucking people that you're ever gonna meet. You can hold a solid conversation with a knowledgeable, nerdy metalhead. You know what I mean? When it comes to gear, and I mean, fucking metalheads love to talk about music and the gear that they use, and you know, have drinks, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And enjoy a good fucking show, you know? So make sure you get your asses down. January 20th, Amsterdam Bar and Pub and fucking hall and whatever the hell it's called. A room with cool shit. 6 p.m. doors, 6:30 red carpet. Ceremony starts at 7:30. It's $10 at the door. I don't know much more that you need to know about that shit. It's they got a lot of cool stuff. The 28th, come to Lee's Liquor Lounge. I've been doing these shows since May of last year. Saturday, January 28th. Come out and check out Day Zero, Hate Beast, Beastface, and Kobaloy. That's $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 Tallboy PBRs, and a lot of cool people going to be hanging out. And I'm going to be doing these all through the year. Lots of really cool shit set up here, and lots more to be coming and all that other shit. We've got some more tunes. We've got, tell me about the Mussin'. Pass me that Mussin'.
This was our first venture into being something different. Like when we were coming off of the thrash stuff, and we had written a bunch of songs during that time, like 5 days later, and some of these random tunes that were a little more progressive, and they were starting to get that direction. Did you have the 7-string? Is that how it started?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Brian got the 7, and then we were like, oh, let's write something that's kind of in that vibe for 7-string. And this is what came out of it. And it was the first time that we had ever really ventured outside of our comfort zone. And to me personally, is my favorite song that we have. I think it's a nice mix of the old shit we used to play and the new shit we play now. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's got a good vibe. And the name itself, which is really dumb, we were all hammered. We were hammered in Wisconsin. We played a show at Mr. Heavy's. I don't think it's even around anymore.
Long story short, yep, we were at Mr. Heavy's in Wisconsin.
Hammered. Like literally pouring drinks behind the bar. Like the bar didn't care. So we were just mixing drinks and just doing whatever we wanted. Long story short, 2 o'clock in the morning.
We're at Perkins.
Yeah,
after
hammered.
the show. We're eating Perkins. I got this giant
mammoth
muffin. It was the mammoth muffin. I'm like, muffins suck, dude. I don't want this muffin. And then Matt, in his drunken stupor, says,
"You want you finish that mussin', dude?"
Yeah. So that's
And
where
that's
the
how it
name
started.
That's where the name Mussin came from.
And it was tentative. It wasn't even supposed to be the name of the song, but
Nope.
we just called it that for so long that when
Right.
it came time to actually like name it something serious, we were like, why don't we just leave it Mussin?
Yeah.
And then everybody will ask us why you call it Mussin, and it'll be
Right.
a good like conversation piece. So
And then
that's how it started.
fast forward after the breakup, we get back together. We decide to keep that song, and we're like, well, we're just gonna keep it Mussin. But Justin did some research, and he said he found out if you put the little umlauts over the U and call it Musin, it's German for with you.
Yeah, with you, I believe.
so-
Yeah.
And we're like, cool, we're gonna keep it like that.
Take
Yeah.
that mussing with you. Get it to Go Box, bitch.
We
Mr.
literally-
Mussin, pussy.
we-
You know,
we-
it's one of those.
The story's not as funny because it's like the millionth time we've told it. But that night, like we got back to the hotel room and we're basically all just passed out on the floor.
Right.
At
It
Skoog's.
had to have been like
Ugh.
2 hours. We were up laughing, giggling like morons, saying "mussin" over and over again because
Right.
they just couldn't comprehend that had happened. But it was like 4:00.
Was that the night you got robbed by the squeeze that Brian
No,
brought
that was
back
not.
to the
That
room?
was not. That,
I'm convinced that bitch robbed you. I don't care.
It's
He woke
possible.
up with way less money, and girl that came home from the bar with Brian.
was-
That's
that
the
was
only
a
person I
different
can
time.
blame at that point.
She was wallet diving.
I guess.
She's
Well,
sweet.
we played at we stayed at a brilliant,
Shithole.
classy hotel called Skooks.
Yeah.
Scoops.
Skooks.
Yeah.
That place was
Wonderful
horrible.
place.
The type of place where you don't take your clothes off.
It
when
looked
you
like
go
a
into the
murder
bed.
scene.
Like, yeah,
Like,
oh yeah, it was
a
bad.
hideous motel.
But we were blasted drunk in it.
Dude,
That town rules though.
I
'cause
have
it's
the
college
worst
town.
motel story ever, man. We went to play Milwaukee Metal Fest one year, and I can't remember what fucking year it was, but we played the rave, and right down the street there. I mean, it's blocks away from where Jeffrey Dahmer killed all those people, right? So we go to this motel, and we walk in, and we're in a death metal band. Everybody runs to the fucking drawer to find the Bible, right? So we open the fucking top drawer and open it up, and it's just fucking broken crack pipes, bloody fucking rags, dude, an enema kit, and like a bunch of fucking of envelopes.
I forgot that was mine. I'm sorry.
A bunch of envelopes filled with these fucking letters. So one of the guys grabs one of the letters. It's a dude who apparently we find out later that this guy lived in this room for a month or 2 months or some shit, was writing these letters to his lover, right? And he was like going all emo, talking about how he's going to kill himself and all the shit. And I mean, there's bloody rags and everything, and fucking an enema kit in there, you know what I mean? And like, we call the front desk, you know, and it's this black chick who was hitting on my guitar player, like, "I'll take me back to your room," that kind of shit, you know? And full on fucking hooker, you know, she's totally selling the shit, right?
Nice.
So we're going, either come down here and clean this fucking room out, or we need another room. Well, there's no more room. So she comes down and she's, you know, "Oh baby, this is just crazy. This dude, you know, like apparently he ate a bunch of pills and like tried to kill himself in this fucking room." So she's cleaning this shit out, and we're like, "Oh my this
God.
fucking disgusting," you know. Totally shitfest. This guy, fucking 500-pound fucking whale dude, gets wasted, pulls his pants down, and falls through the fucking window and cuts his asshole up. So there's shitty ass blood every which way. I said,
Oh my
I said,
God.
"Fuck this! I'm going and sleeping in the fucking van." I brought some chick from Chicago. I'm fucking finger banging this broad from Chicago in the van, and fucking, and we get kicked out by the cops. It's 4 in the morning. We're going back to Minnesota. Yeah,
He's
horrible.
lucky he didn't get a staph infection or something terrible like that falling through that disgusting ass window, you know?
Yeah, right. Get some fucking HIV from the fucking nastiness, dude.
That's
Absolutely.
hideous.
So you guys are working on new material as well, and you're going to try to do another E EP.
Either EP or album.
Yeah, we really
see
haven't
what
decided how
happens.
serious it's going to be yet.
How
you know?
many songs do you have together now? Are those
Those plus like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
At
still
most,
kind of in
yeah.
the infancy to work
stuff
on
in
the
the
other
works.
stuff.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of excess material that you may be able to recall if you wanted to switch it up a
Absolutely.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Essentially, we do have like an older song, "Poem to No One," that we wrote, where we made way heavier and cooler, a little more thrashy on that one too. We play that one live a lot, and people seem to get a kick out of it. So we'll
Nice.
probably
Yeah.
put that one on something
That's
eventually.
awesome, man. And you were talking about this Delusions of Grandeur. What is this one? Who picked that one?
You guys picked one of those?
I picked
you
it.
jerk.
Dude, it was okay. So it's either I've been listening when you said to pick out 10 songs. We were like, all right, we're each gonna pick out a new song and an old song that we're into. And lately, out of the bands that I've been listening to, it's Delusions of Grandeur and The Browning. I'm obsessed with The Browning, but I really, really like this song from Delusions of Grandeur. So I was like, I got Just gotta have them play it.
The
It's
Browning
gotta-
are so cool. They're such a weird
Yeah,
band.
they're way dope.
like yeah.
But
they're-
this Delusions of Grandeur, dude, these guys are heavy as fuck. And when Brian's the one who showed me that band.
You're welcome.
And that was and that was right when we started writing new material and whatever, and we were halfway through the EP. And I'm like, dude, this is the kind of shit, like, it's not necessarily what I want to write, but I want to write just the heaviest shit that I want to be the heaviest fucking band that we can be. That's all that I have in my mentality these days. I just
Right.
want to be heavy as fuck.
Right.
And these guys inspired me for that. And these guys are heavy as fuck.
Nice.
And it's got
sure
a
are.
guest spot from the vocalist from Infant Annihilator, or former vocalist from Infant Annihilator. It has a little guest spot in this song.
This is that one, huh?
Yeah.
With the
With the
ridiculous
really, like-
vocal. Yeah, the low end. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really
it's ridiculous.
insane
I'm
lows.
into it.
Now, how about Chimera? That's kind of an old band that is no
Yeah,
longer
you picked
together.
that, Justin.
I see the thing for me was when we first started out in the band, and like I told you, these guys kind of exposed me to newer styles of metal, Kill Switch and shit like that. The first time I heard Chimera was Pure Hatred, the song that you guys are gonna hear. It that to me was like the heaviest fucking shit I've ever heard. The drums in the beginning and like just everything about that band was just everything I needed right at that exact perfect time. And it was honestly it was Mark Hunter, the vocalist, who made me think like, okay, I don't have to scream like Phil. I can scream like this, and I could do something like that.
Sure.
And he inspired me a lot to branch out a little bit and be a little more badass, with your vocals. And yeah, just this song for us. I don't know, that whole album got a good run at the house when we were all living together. That what the hell's the name of that CD again?
Impossibility of Reason.
Yeah, that whole CD. If you guys haven't listened to that, get out there. And,
Impossibility of remembering.
yeah, it's one of those.
I've
for real.
had a few beers in my
You guys, if you haven't listened to that album, give it everything you got.
marijuana effects. That
Sure does.
How about Periphery? Tell you about that.
Matt,
I
That's
picked
this
that
guy.
one, and that was the same reason I picked Seven Dust, Morgan Rose, and then Peripheries, Matt Halpern. He's like my new obsession drummer. His style is so different than most metal bands because he's not actually a metal drummer,
Right.
Which is where they get their sound from. And
Right.
that, I mean,
I love that touch, man. We were
Yeah,
talking about that too. That
there's this-
funky shit, man.
I don't
It's
know.
just-
He really does. He can.
He's
if you
next
see
level.
his videos when he plays like a snare drum and a hi hat and a bass drum in the
Right.
middle of God. He's what did they put him in the middle of like Mardi Gras?
Right.
And he just started playing the street with like 2 GoPros on him.
Right.
It's just huge crowd around him. He can make so many sounds off of one drum.
Right.
It's unbelievable. So
get
yeah,
Trap
he's
Kit.
been my new. When it comes to like that gent style. I thought that band sucked when I first heard him. Brian again turned us on to that one. And
You're
I had
welcome.
You're
no
welcome.
desire to listen to it after, and then for some reason it just kept leaning on me. And then when I really started to focus in on how good he was at drums, that's when I really, really started to like their music.
It's amazing, like when you listen to metal, especially how much something could suck so bad to you at one point, and then like 2 years later, it's the coolest thing you've
You're
ever
not
heard
ready
in your
for
life.
it.
You're just not. Periphery
ready
is
for it.
definitely one of those bands for me where like that lead singer, I was like, he's terrible. I
It's-
hate him
it's
singing
another,
that. Like,
another
you know?
topic that I really fucking run the gamut on when I do this show a lot. It's something that really rings true for me because I've done it so many times where I'm like, I'll put something in and I'm like, what's the appeal? You know what I mean? Well, why is this so cool? And I'm like, I don't like it, and I'll shelf it. I won't throw it. I won't trade it. I won't do anything like that.
Right.
But somebody will go. It's like being at a party and that one song that's like the 17th track of the fucking album. You're like, what is this? And they go, it's that one album. And you go, fuck, I got that one. And you go back.
Right.
And
Yep.
you're like, okay, so that one song hit me so much in a room full of people drinking and getting crazy. And I got to go back and check it out. And then all of a
Absolutely.
sudden, it's like your ears really open up to it.
Yep.
It's like learning your perspective instrument. It's like you hear that one tone. Learning from just hearing something, you figure it out on your instrument, or you hit that note when you're singing, like you said in the car, and you scream with that one thing, and you're going, oh, that's it, I'm fucking hooked.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
woo, you're fucking
Yeah.
stuck with it, and you're constantly trying to revise that. It's like getting a fix. You're like, man,
Right.
I need to get high again. I need to get going. Yeah, absolutely.
And now,
man.
just for the record, that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I thought he was a clown at first. I couldn't handle all the singing, but now he's a god. When
Yeah.
you realize what he's doing, you're like, oh, geez, man, like that's a whole nother bar.
It's
It
all
makes you feel
perspective.
terrible as a singer. You're like,
Right,
man, I could
right.
never do that, you know?
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, let's take a listen. Stick around, folks. We got a little bit left. Thanks for tuning in, but make sure you stick around. We'll be back. Yeah, see? You got nothing on me, see? Thanks for sticking around, folks. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 148. Hanging out with the fellas from, what's the name of you guys' band?
Thy Art is Murder.
Yeah, that's what we're called.
Boris the Blade.
Pantera. We are American Head Charge.
Nice.
No, we
Failing
are
to wake.
failing to wake.
Failing to Wake.
Failing to wake.
And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we have one lyric video on YouTube, and that's for the song Mussin'.
And you can find Brian on Grindr.
Yeah, Brian is definitely on
Swipe
Grindr.
right. Always.
Always swipe right.
You're welcome.
I'm HIV positive. I have at least 2 profiles on there.
At least he's honest. At least he's honest. Anyways, yeah, if you ever want to get in touch with us, find us on Facebook.
HIV positive. I have 2 profiles on there.
Why you gotta be so HIV negative about things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hideous.
Sorry, dude, that was fucking
it's
awesome.
so ridiculous. But yeah, if you want to contact us, find us on Facebook, shoot us a message, find us on Twitter, shoot us a message on there. Otherwise, we don't really have anything else. In 98,
MySpace? Do
90,
you still have a MySpace?
Nah, I
It's
don't
out
think
there. I bet it's still
might
out
be
there.
How can they
It's
get
out
this
there.
bad boy? right
You
here?
can get our new EP Disruptor on iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, and you can stream us on Spotify. We are also on Shazam, which is cool.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. and then we're on like
Gesundheit.
3
Wasn't that
other.
a weird Shaquille O'Neal movie?
Yep.
That movie was-
Oh yeah. No, that movie was dope, dude.
It was Kazam.
Was it Kazam?
Kazam.
Same thing. Good enough.
Potato,
Same
potato,
thing.
whatever.
Anyways, you can Shazam us. That's kind of cool. And then we are on
Kazoo,
3
Kazam.
other platforms, I think, in Europe.
Yeah,
I don't remember them. 24/7, Deezer, and another one. Anyways, yep, that's where you can get our music. And then we have that one show coming up February 23rd at Amsterdam Barn Hall with Dead Horse Trauma, Portraits of War, The Culture of, and Straight Jacket. And one more plug for the Medis. Remember, we will be at the Medis. I don't think we're nominated for anything, but we're just going to go and hang out, kick it, meet new people. Come hang out with us. Don't be afraid of us. We don't bite, except for Brian.
I could really tell you if you got nominated or not.
Did we get nominated?
I
You
don't
are
know.
a judge.
All I have to do is look in my email.
Oh, boy. Word. We got the inside scoop.
Yes, got the. Sorry, Bill.
We'll be the honorable mention guys at the end. We'll be in the
Yeah.
small print.
You guys were nominated, but that fucking worthless podcast, it would ruined it for you.
You had a career and it's gone.
And it's got
Ruiner. You ruin everything.
Boom.
Shock and lock. Oh yes. So let me see here. So we touched on a lot of different stuff. These guys were touching each other. It was kind of weird, but
I feel like I'm in
I was
church
kinda
all
into
over
it.
again.
Yeah, it's kind of
Hot.
Oh, hot and bothered. We both have our pants off. On. We have our pants on. Yeah. So
Docking.
just fucking folding skin over the.
Oh my
Yep.
Christ.
Yep. Oh, see, you know what it is.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
really
done it.
weird.
No, never mind.
No.
It's weird when you like illustrate it.
Yeah, I've never seen
In your
anyone
head,
do
it's
that
like,
with their
oh, yeah.
hands.
That's usually how I explain it. Like somebody's
Okay,
anteater goes over the tip of the other one. And
Help! I need an adult.
yeah,
Dude, the sleeve thing. Well, that was perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like it kind of
it just goes right inside.
fish that damn thing. in.
Yep.
I don't know how it works.
Oh,
Just
that's fucking
gotta be careful with the schmegma.
really
That's
gross
what we're
bubble
ending
gum.
on. This is what we're ending on.
Tell us something good.
I got nothing, dude.
Come on, you got something.
You killed it with that.
Schmegma.
Schmegma.
That's a good word.
Schmegma.
Honestly, you know, I know you said you've beaten it to death a bunch of times, but I think it's kind of cool that we're doing an award show. I mean, come on, how often do you get like a medal award show? There's like,
I'm really
there's
curious.
They
hip
do
hop
that in
shows,
Europe.
there's country shows, there's all kinds of shit. Like when over the years, besides the Headbangers Ball,
Right.
did like an award show once or twice back in the
What
day.
is the
Didn't they?
fucking the
I can't remember
horror
what-
award. No, well, there's some other award.
Metal
show that-
Hammer Awards or whatever. They do that still, do they not?
I can't remember what.
But besides that, like, how often do metal bands get a time to like?
well,
hit,
in
you know-
Minnesota,
yeah,
I mean,
especially
that-
in Minnesota.
you
I
really
just think it's cool.
You
like,
really don't have anything like that.
that's what I'm getting.
It's-
at.
Last year
It's
we
so
had a
unique.
secret show on a boat. Now we got an award show. I
Yeah.
mean, this is
balling.
fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
This is
it's cool.
New, it's different.
It's a new level.
Why
Yeah.
just do the same old boring shit that didn't
Pantera,
work for
right.
like 15 years, which is why people said the scene was dead.
Right.
Well,
Dude, our
now it's
scene
like
is thriving from what I
embrace the
see.
change or just get the hell out. Like
Right.
there's no reason. Like
Stop bitching about it.
yeah,
Yep.
like you bitched about it being boring and stupid before, and now it's becoming unique and kind of fun and cool. And there's
Right.
all kinds of different
Now
bands.
you're
and
gonna naysay
and
that
now
too.
you're gonna naysay that. It's kind of like, oh, what
I
do
hope
you want?
I hope the awards look like that.
Right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Fucking
Just
cool
a
that'd be.
fucking-
You either
just
you either hop on the hype train or you stay the
Or just
fuck
get
back.
out. Yeah, it's- I don't know.
Now
To me,
leaving
it's-
the station.
Dude, we're jumping on it.
Yeah.
We're in.
So how hard is it when you're doing a podcast not to just like bash people, like to have that moment, like where sometimes you
To
know what,
shit
you're
on
like, you
people?
know what, yeah,
You know what?
shit on
There-
somebody.
There
like,
was, there's a few podcasts back. There was, and I'm like, you know, I said that because everybody asked, you know, well, what can we do? What can we say? And I'm like, I don't give a shit what you say. If you're gonna bash somebody, you don't have to say their name. Just round about it, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And they go, yeah, this one guy was, I think it was Hate Beast actually that was on here, and they brought up this guy that actually took the time to make a website about me. And yeah, you can Google it and find
Shut
it
up.
still to this
Awesome.
day. Yeah, but he called me a child molester. He had my fucking probation phone number down. Called me a drug dealer, which all of it's pretty much true except for the child shit. But I have children, and like I found it, and I'm like, how it all started is there's a local website, like I can't even remember what the fuck it was called, like Minnesota, I can't even remember. It was just some fucking website, and him and my friend got into it. We lived together, and he's like, dude, look at this shit. So, and I knew the dude. We partied together. We hung out a bunch back in the day, and this dude had been on Howard Stern. He had been on all the shit, but his band, he basically hired a bunch of musicians to come and he cut a record. He was in another band that he never really went out and played with, but he took their music, recorded it all, made a record label, and stole it all from them. Right? And this dude's super shady. So when we got into it, like I put him on Front Street, like I blew his ass up, and all of a sudden he started, you know, like
throwing accusations
well,
around.
no, he did a lot of crazy shit towards me, and you threatened me and did all this crazy shit, you know. And I was like, bring your ass back to Minnesota. I'll stomp the fuck out of you, you know.
Right.
So I started researching because I wanted. He had enough shit on me to where he could really put me on Front Street, which I didn't really give a fuck because it was all pretty much true. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't hiding from anybody. But I started researching this dude. This dude was. He pretended to be a photographer, and he was a huge Kiss fan, and basically took all of these, like swindled all of these photographers out of their fucking Kiss photos, right? And then sold them to magazines and made money off of other people's material, right? So he got caught for that. He barricaded himself and his kid and his fucking fiance in a house and threatened to kill everybody. Then fucking dude's fucking nuts, completely nuts, right? So they bring this thing up, and I'm going, yeah, you know. And then they said they're like they couldn't remember his name, and then they said like a portion of his name, and I just spit his name out. That motherfucker, if he ever comes back to Minnesota, I'll fucking kill him. And I just went fucking ape shit on it. And then after the thing was all said and done, I showed him the website, and he'd updated it like within the last couple months. Because okay, so here's the deal: is that he still has contacts with some people in Minnesota, right? And I called one of his buddies, and I go, "Listen, man, I don't like the dude don't like me, whatever." I go, "I got kids, I got daughters," and I go, "If anybody researches me, because I'm a big fucking galoot, you know what I'm saying? And if my daughter's friends want to come over to my house, you know, why wouldn't somebody's parents Google you to find out
Oh,
if
of
you're
course,
a
yeah,
felon,
it's
if
the easiest
you're,
way to know about
whatever,
somebody,
right?
yeah, of
So
course.
if that shit pops up, you know what I mean? Someone says that I'm a fucking child molester, that's going to be, you know, and I was really fucking pissed off about it, but I'm like, this has gone on long enough. This dude has had his way. Dude, I tried to get the website taken down. I mean, I tried everything, just sending shit here and there. I even had a buddy make up a cover letter, just all this bullshit. I couldn't get nothing, but I called his buddy up and I go, listen, if you can get me this fucking dude's phone number, I want to call him. I want to talk to him. At one time, he called me and I fucking had him crying on the phone and all the shit. Anyways, I mentioned to this dude, I go, listen, all this shit's all old. I mean, this spanned 15 years, dude. This guy had updated this website. My new bands, like all of the guys that I
He was
jammed
so
with,
bitter.
he contacted every single one of them and said, you know, how bad of a dude I was and how much trouble I bring to all this other bullshit, right? So I called the dude and I go, listen, this has gone far enough, man. You got to tell him. I'm like, I got kids, man. I'm done with this shit. I'm an adult. I don't need to fucking play games with this. If he wants to come to my house and wants to shoot me or whatever, or stab me, fucking bring it on, man. I'm not afraid of you. I'll fucking kill you, whatever, you know? and that's what I said. And when we went back after the show was all said and done, right? I fucking go and I look the shit up and it was all updated. And all of that shit of him calling me a child molester was all gone. And I was just like, okay, all the other shit that you're spouting off about and how much of an asshole I am. And dude, he had my wife's fucking work number. Dude, he had all kinds of shit on there. And I was like, this has just gone way too far. So anyways,
That's stalker status.
so anyways, it is really hard to not shit on people. And there are people out there that really deserve it. But there are people that I take pride in saying, this is like Switzerland. You know, I'm on any side, you know what I mean? Like, I want to help every single artist that I can. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have beef with this other band, I'll still book this other band. And even if, and I have friends that I've been friends with for 25 years that are bitter motherfucking people that have gone right on my post. Like, I put your guys' flyer up, right? If he didn't like you guys, he would have went on there and he just would have shit on it. And instantly, as soon as I saw it, I would have deleted it, would have sent him a message. If you got problems with them, go to them, fucking talk to them. Don't bring it on my shit. I mean, Bobby Olson is a perfect example. The guy is one of the only promoters in town that is booking heavy shit in town. He's the guy who's got money to do this stuff.
Right.
He's putting it all together himself, and everybody's shitting on him. Every promoter in this town makes mistakes, okay? And you can't condemn a guy for putting on shows of music that we all love. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if he is doing things wrong, he's learning as he's going. And he's been doing it a long time.
Wow.
The thing is that people think that he's actually getting money up front.
No.
Like, hey, man, I'm going to give you 50 tickets and you got to pay for these tickets. And whatever tickets you don't sell,
Right.
you still got to pay for those
It
tickets.
don't work like that.
Exactly. And that's why when I had him on here, like I said, it's a perfect example, is when I had him on here, I had multiple people call me and contact me. I did my research. I went and I talked to bands that had worked with them, and everybody was afraid to say anything, you know, because they figure I'm out here talking. You know, it's like regular media. They want to grab the
Right.
bad shit and they want to put that to the front. Me,
Oh, of course.
I just want everybody to get their story out and have a good time doing it. Have a few beers, smoke some weed, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when he came in here, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, did anybody actually send you questions?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a bunch of questions. Will you send them to me?" And I said, "No." And I'm like, "I really want your genuine response online." He came in and he was a little on the defense right away with great reason.
Of course.
Because there were a lot of people that other promoters, other people that had worked with him that he had bad dealings with, and they all wanted me to just trash him. And all I did was I took it all in stride. I was just like, listen. And my buddy of 25 years, he fucking shit on that dude instantly. And I deleted his shit. I didn't say nothing to him. He got a hold of me. He's like, "Man, you know me. I don't mince my words, you know, blah, 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 blah." I said, "That's fucking fine. You can say whatever you want, but say it to him. Don't say it to me. I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with him. Why are you putting me in the middle of it? I don't give a fuck about your bullshit."
Right.
2 weeks later, after that thing, his band was on one of Bobby's things. I went right to him and went, "You hypocritical motherfucker." I'm like, "That is some bullshit." You know what he said? He goes, "Well, my band will never pay for tickets." I go, "You fucking moron. You don't pay for the fucking tickets, dummy." And he's like, well, if I'm selling the tickets, why ain't I getting money? I'm like, you know what? He's the businessman. Talk to him.
Yep.
If you sell those 50 and you get 50 more from him and you sell them, do you think he's not going to go, "I'm going to give this dude as many shows as I could possibly give him"? Because he's
There's
he's
an incentive
working,
there to give you
He's
business,
working
yeah.
for his, for his meal, for his ticket, for
Right.
for doing what he's doing. He's making you work for it.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's it is really easy to.
It's a good business model.
To want
really.
to. I
Dude.
mean, it is to make people work for what I mean, dude, you can go word of mouth all you want. You can go Facebook all you want and event pages all you want. But if you're not out there churning out product and actually
Yep,
being out there rubbing
exactly.
elbows with people, you're really doing it the wrong way. And you guys know when you do something to a point where you feel like, when you're coming up and you're working and you got your friends telling you and they're in your ear and they're like, "You're the best band we've ever seen," you start to buy into that shit. I am living proof of that. I've been there. I know how it is. I played in front of fucking 20,000 people. 2 weeks later, I played in St. Paul in front of fucking 15. And it was like a crash right to the fucking ground. And I walked away from it going, "You know what? I'm just a dude doing what I love to do, and that's all I can do.
Yep.
If I play in front of 20,000, that's the shit. If I play in front of 50 to 100, I'm fucking happy there too. As long as I'm getting my shit out there, you know what I mean. You guys learn from the mistakes that you made, and you come back and you're putting things together.
Yep.
You're getting a good model, a good fucking product for people to see. And people don't understand that when you go. The T-shirt salesman, the perfect quote right there is when you go into another town, you know what I mean? Nobody knows you. You're just a band from Minnesota unless you stick out, unless you got 12 fucking, Reaping Asmodeus shirts that, they got their merch on point. That's what you need to do because you're not going to make money selling these anymore.
Nope.
That's the thing. And that, when I was coming up, that's what you would make your money on. It wasn't T-shirts. You might have 2 or 3 T-shirts. But now it's all about the merch and the marketing and being able to fucking get that shit out there, man. You really have to push. And now, it's even harder now because people can watch all your videos on YouTube and they can see your best show and your worst show. You know what I mean? And like we said earlier, the worst one is the one that's going to stick with the motherfuckers.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They're a horrible band, blah, 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 and they talk all kinds of shit. So yes, it is really easy to shit on people, and it is. But I'm just not that guy. If I got something to say, I'd rather say it to somebody personally than fucking go on something that I really want to thrive. And I want people to want to contact me and say, hey, dude, when you guys have another EP, say, hey, man, we really want to come on. We had a great time the last time. We want to come on and we want to pump these shows. We want to pump this EP. And that is what I want it to be for. I want it to be an outlet for people to come in and be cool and chill out and be comfortable and not have to worry about getting shit on, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I don't want to scare anybody away, man, I mean, I'm a silly fucking schizoid, you know what I mean? I'm all over the fucking place, but the fact of the matter is I give a shit about the scene. I have been here since I was 15. I started playing, and I'm 44 now, and I still play. You know what I'm saying? And I want to continue to do that, and I want to give everybody the opportunity to learn from your guys' mistakes. You know what I'm saying? To not say that it's wrong. You didn't sell out. You learned from going and playing those. A lot of people who start bands, they start with covers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they slowly grow into to melding their own shit. You guys flip the script on that shit, and that's something that people really need to listen to. Because it's not giving up. If you learned and took the time to hone your craft, to learn to play on a 7-string guitar or play a trap kit or anything like that, taking that time, people don't understand all of the hours and all of the time that it takes to be able to just play a fucking beat, man. There's some gifted athletes. There's some gifted musicians. I've seen so many great musicians just go and just start doing drugs and stop playing. And I look at them and I go, dude, you could have been so fucking good. I mean, for 30-something years of watching people come and go out of this scene, dude, it's heartbreaking because I'm like, man, you got 5 kids now, and you're working some Joe Schmo 9 to 5, and guys like DJ and every bands that are out there now who are getting in the van and going out there and pushing their shit because they really want it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That shit's hard to do, man. And people in this day and age where everybody can just download your shit and steal your shit. That's the hardest shit to do, man,
Absolutely.
That's the hardest shit to do. And,
You're like the Tony Robbins of metal music, dude. Like, shit
Tony
you not like, dude. I want to go out into the
Robbins.
street right now and just start fucking slanging T-shirts and do
legit
all this stuff.
statement.
Like, seriously, man. I want you to talk to us before every show now, like the pit. Like,
I want everybody to, in the beginning of the show is something that I would have older guys like me on here, and we would talk about like what would you say to somebody who's starting out as a musician, and a lot of people are like, don't, or learn, play another style of music, you know what I mean, if you want to make money, because to be honest with you, metal's not the genre to play if you want to make money.
No.
And you guys were talking about off the air playing covers, you were making money. I know dudes that make $2,500 a fucking weekend or a night, and they play 3 times a weekend and they're making bank. And they're doing that, and then they're coming back and playing their original shit, and they're $50,
Yep.
$25, some pizza, some beer. You know what I mean? It's the love of the fucking music, man.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle for me. And I can't grow long hair anymore. I would love to, but I got a big ass beard and a fat belly and a lot of gray hairs to prove it. You know what I'm saying? And I still love metal. You know what I mean? And I'll die fucking trying to push my lifestyle on everybody else because I think that it's fucking. There's some intelligent motherfuckers out there, man.
Sure
You know
are.
that music, that nerding out, you know that tuning your ears to hear the vocal patterns, to tuning your ears to hearing a tone, tuning your ears to hearing a drum beat, and being able to focus on just that drum when everything else is going a million miles an hour. Takes a lot of fucking talent, and people want to pass that shit up and go, whatever. You know what I mean? I think that the radio is a perfect example now. It is a shit show. It's a complete shit show.
It's
You're
awful.
being force fed this stuff that is so mundane and redundant.
It's
just
top
as-
40.
Yeah, it's
Always
it's
top 40.
constant,
Yeah.
and you're being force fed this shit. Like, here's the new Ghost and da 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 da.
Yeah.
I don't fucking get that Ghost shit.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
get it.
No.
I've
Is that
got
song
friends
called
that love
Square
that shit.
Peg or something?
Square
Oh,
Hammer
Square
is
Hammer.
it,
That
dude.
song sucks.
Not into
Garbage,
it.
dude.
Oh.
Garbage.
Yeah,
And
They
it's-
all that
dress
shit.
like they want to sacrifice every single child that
Right,
they come
right.
across.
Like the
to
one though, it's like the
Satan.
other
But
day I
instead
flipped on
they just-
93X and there was like Mumford and Sons and shit were on there, and I was like, what the hell is going
Yeah,
on
radio
here? Like,
radio sucks, dude.
unless you're up
Radio's-
north, like 101.7 does it right pretty good,
They
and then
play good shit.
96.7. Once you get out of the cities, you get up towards like our neck of the
St.
woods. It's
Cloud,
like
yeah.
heavy death.
Right.
Like at like 2:00 in the afternoon, you
It
hear
needs-
like
it
a song.
needs-
from Static
93X
That's a
plays
fucking-
21 Pilots.
Yeah, like
Let's
what
put
the
it at
hell?
that.
Oh, my
Yeah.
penis is all up in your mouth.
Yeah, that song's gotten
Yeah.
old now. But hey, can I bring it back real quick
You can.
and say something quick about when you were talking about Bobby Olson? That cat gets a lot of hate
Yeah.
locally,
Yeah.
and we go way back with him. Like,
Sure.
dude, we've been playing shows with Bobby since we were kids.
Right.
Bolt.
Dude, he went out and opened up his own little venue called the Vault. It was a shitty little bank that he took us into the basement and showed us. He gave us a little tour of the place. There was like an old bank vault.
Super creepy.
And he's like, dude, people
Yeah.
died here. Like, this shit was crazy.
Right.
But he took the time to buy this place and gut
Try
it
it
out.
out, do it.
And he built a stage and he fucking.
Dude, in that interview, he told me all about it, and it was
Yeah.
crazy
Good.
because he's like, he goes, I got roped into it. He said, you know, I agreed to fucking put money up for this, and then he's like, this dude didn't have permits for this, and he didn't have
No.
permits for that. It's like, fuck,
Hey, you got
man.
fucked.
Yeah, so he fucking did that, and he gave us all sorts of opportunities. He gave every band that wanted the opportunity, he gave them the chance to come out and fucking rock out on his stage.
Right.
And then after that got shut down, I think he went to the showcase. Was he at the showcase or was that not?
I think the showcase was
That was
before
somebody
that.
else.
Showcase.
But didn't he go to
was before
Station 4?
Yeah,
He went to Station
Fires.
4.
Yeah, he bought
and
that right after that.
he was fucking busting ass at Station 4, and he gave us sweet.
And then it got shut down.
He gave us sweet
Just
shows
gave
at
us a break.
Station 4. Then it got shut down, and now he's running like Skyway Theater and doing shows at Amsterdam and shit. He gave us that show at Skyway over the summer, and I remember we pulled up in the back alley to unload our gear and shit, and there he is back there schlepping gear for Mushroom Head, pushing around these huge fucking
Massive
cases, these cabs, just fucking putting in work. Like, that dude, you can hate on him all you want, and I'm talking to all you bands out there that I see hating on him. You can hate on him all you want, but he fucking busts his ass, and he does a lot for this scene
Well, it's
here.
just a true, like, there's really something to be said in life. Like, no matter how much everybody likes you, everybody could like you. 90% of the people in the world could like you, but those 10% that hate you are so much louder
Yep.
Yeah.
than the 90% that love you. It's always going to be that way.
And
So
dude,
you
that
know,
that shit stinks.
you know
too,
that you're
yeah.
going to make it. You know that you're making it when people fucking hate you.
That's
Yep.
actually
If they
a good
take
point.
the time to like hate you on the internet and hate you in every fucking facet of your life, that means you're doing something right. Really, in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. So we've grown up seeing Bobby and his hustle, and that motherfucker has put in a lot of hustle. And it's like, after we see him schlepping gear with Mushroom Head, we see him 20 minutes later, fucking sitting up front collecting tickets and collecting money, and he's working the whole time at the door. This last show we did with Head PE, he drove from down south a ways up down there all the way up to fucking St. Cloud and brought his own shovel because he knew he
snowstorm.
was gonna need a shovel. He's
It was like 2.5 hours in the car or
Yeah.
something ridiculous.
he's like, what
that.
promoter do you know brings his own fucking shovel? It's like, dude, yeah.
I got nothing but love for the dude. I think it's ridiculous that people don't understand the difference between a pay-to-play show and something that you have to work for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody wants to have. I mean, granted, when we did the interview, I told him how I felt about it. That when you imagine us all having different bands, right?
Right.
You have a band, and we're all friends. and all of our friends come to our mutual shows. I go to your shows, vice versa, right? So we all get put on this bill, and we all have to sell 25, 50 tickets. And this is what I told them. I'm like, you're digging so deep into that band pool that eventually it's going to start hurting the bands, because now, so say we all know the same people, and beyond those people, the people we work with that don't know those other people, there's a handful, maybe 50 people if you're lucky, that each one of us and our friends don't know. You know what I mean? And that slowly shrinks that band pool down even more. And now you're trying to sell to those people that don't know those other people. Now he comes to my show with the same tickets and sells them to people that I know. Now it's like it's like, I'm on this corner selling tickets, bitch. You're in my hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get
Get off
that.
my street corner.
And the thing you got to do is you just got to fucking
Hustle,
you
dude.
got to hustle. You got to put in the fucking work. You got to go out and hustle. You got to get off of fucking Facebook, get off of YouTube, get off the internet, and go the fuck outside.
Yeah.
And you got to go to these clubs that are playing these shows. And after the fuck, you got to sit outside the doors like back in the day and hand out
some shit
flyers,
out.
hand out your fucking CDs and shit, and be like, dude, check on my band.
Right.
Come see this show or fucking play. You have to go out and actually talk to people
Right.
and communicate
Which
with
is hard for people to do
Yeah.
these days.
They'd
So-
rather be keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We call them e-thugs.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a fucking e-thug,
It's so much safer in my mom's basement.
yeah,
Sure
exactly.
is.
So I mean, hate all you want, but you're hating because you're not putting in the work
Yep.
that's necessary in order to fucking move your band forward.
Yep.
And then, that's all it really is.
Yeah.
And Bobby gives you the opportunities.
Hey, to Bobby. What up, Bobby?
He gives the opportunity, and I understand. Like, I do see the comments and the shit that people say, and I do get their side. I totally 100% get their side. But I mean, that's just it. If you really want it, put in the fucking work.
The sad thing
Hustle.
is, though, is that people allow them. It's like not doing the research yourself. You are going to take everybody else's word and dude's a shithead, dude's an asshole, blah blah blah.
That's
blah,
all
blah.
it is.
You know what I mean? And then they take that negative shit and then they just keep spreading it around like, oh, I still maybe pay $1,000 for that. You know what I mean? They just keep running their yappers.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it could go around the table. The rumor could start. I got my
Telephone.
toe ran over by a car, and by the time it got back,
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, some outlandish shit like that. Hell yeah! Make sure you dock that shit by the end of the night. Anyways, we've got one more tune here. We're gonna end with another one of your guys, the title track for your EP. Correct?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Disruptor.
Tell me about the Disruptor. How did that come to be?
That was just a riff that I had that we had kind of dicked around with and played with and just tried to do something with, and then just had little things that we just kept adding to it and building off of it, and
Yeah,
it was
took a while.
completely different than what we normally wrote to.
Yeah.
the truth about that song is we wrote that song like as just a filler. We were like, we need one more song for this EP, and it was just, we need a new song for this EP, so we wrote it, and then it took for fucking ever to really hone it in. And we wanted this EP done months and months and months before when we actually got it out. But this
Right.
song, it held it up a little bit, and we're happy that we took the time to do it, because this is one song, like, out of all the songs in this EP, this is the one that's been getting the most praise. Like, I've had so many people come up to me and they're like, dude, that title track, Disruptor, that shit is awesome. And I'm like, well, what about Fall Me Down? Because that song's heavy as fuck. And they're like, no, dude, Disruptor, that song's the shit. Like,
Right.
so many people. I'm like, all right, I don't get
That's
it.
so
It's a
funny.
sweet
fucking weird.
song, but
it's like what happened to Warrant, right? They write this badass album and then they fucking Cherry Pie hits the radio and they're like, dude,
Pie.
have you ever heard Uncle Tom's Cabin? And they're like, no, dude, Cherry Pie, that's the
That is
song.
a great song.
That's
And
the
that, like,
song.
Tom's Cabin.
It's their best song.
Wasn't Steve Miller Band like that too?
Yeah, Fly Like an Eagle
Yeah, that
became
was a
like their
filler.
anthem. Yeah, and
That
it
was
was
a
just
filler.
it was just a bullshit track.
filler.
I fucking hate that. I really do. Because I honestly, like,
So-
this song took me so long to write. I had to write it like 3 times. I hate this song. It was like it was my nemesis.
Moral of
You
the
know what I
story
mean?
is write more filler tunes because those are the hits.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, actually. Those ones that you just, like, you're more comfortable, you don't overthink them, and you go for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, it took me a long time to put lyrics to this song. But yeah, like he said, it was so weird that when it all came together, that was the song that everybody loved, and it was just this like throw it on the table and just kind of put it together, and we're like,
These
yeah,
pieces
put that,
fall together
put that
well.
on the CD, you know, like I don't know, it's weird.
That's good,
But
man. That's good.
I
So-
do like the song now. It's just it was a bastard to get done. It really was.
Sure was.
That's good shit, man. That's the true story behind it all too. You know what I mean? Like
Behind the music.
You're,
Yeah.
trying,
Yeah.
to,
Music.
you're trying to get that shit done, and you're like, oh man, we just one more song.
Right.
Fuck, man, why you gotta do that shit right now? We can't go with 5. 5's a good number, man. Come on. This is gonna take an extra month. Fuck.
We wanted to call the
Worth
album
it.
"Smell the Glove," but it was already used at that point, and I wanted to call the track "Smell the Glove," but it didn't work. Anybody?
Is it,
Anybody?
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap
Yeah.
references doing anything for you?
You can't have a woman smelling the glove. It's derogatory. Why?
Such a great album
Yeah.
cover.
That's excellent. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for coming. I appreciate you
Hey,
guys
man.
taking the
Thank
time
you.
to-
for having
Thank
to
you.
stop in and drop some knowledge on these folks. I think we touched on a lot of cool shit tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't wait
There's
for
a lot
other
of
people
touching
to
going on.
keep your hands over there. Sir.
Sorry.
I want the keyboard warriors now. I want people like fuck this band, dude. Like I want that. I want a little
Bring the hate.
bring the hate. You know why? Because hate makes money. As soon as somebody hates you,
The
you
hate
get
train.
popularity.
Take your lightsaber and strike me down with it.
Let the hate flow.
Hate flow through you.
Well, awesome, man. Thank you. How can they get in touch with you guys again?
Facebook's, you can send us messages on Facebook or Twitter.
Twitter.
That's basically the only
You
way.
guys got a
can get-
Bandcamp? You got anything like that? Oh, you got
Not yet.
fucking all that shit. iTunes.
It's all
and-
iTunes,
Yep,
Amazon
iTunes,
Music,
Amazon.
Google
all the
Play,
good shit.
Spotify.
Fuck
yeah.
Bandcamp. You got all the good shit.
Yeah,
anyways.
fuck a band camp. But yeah, we appreciate you having us,
No
man.
flautists.
Good times.
Looking forward to seeing people at the show.
At the
too.
Medis and
Medis,
shit,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
gonna be
January
hella
20th.
fun.
Times.
Medis, and then one more time, February 23rd
Yeah.
with Dead Horse Trauma, Portraits of War, The Culture of, and Straight Jacket at Amsterdam Bar.
Word up. Double Amsterdam's up in here. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Y'all been gracious and beautiful and all that other shit. And make sure you give these guys some likes and follow them. Go see them live on the 23rd. Come hang out with us at the Medis. It's going to be a blast. I think it's going to be fun. And I'm going to wear some weird shit. I don't know, top hat or cane. Look like,
Pimp Cane.
dude, I'm going to.
I think you can rock it.
I think
Dumb and Dumber?
DJ was talking about doing the fucking
Dumb and Dumber.
yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
Someone,
Fuck yeah.
someone
yeah,
has
full
to
it's
do
of
like
it.
shit.
frilly and
That would be the shit, dude.
pirate shirts.
Like
Like
bright orange and shit. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love it. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Don't forget to check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on a multitude of links: iTunes, Stitcher, social fucking media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget to download.
Did you say YouTube?
I did not. I would never say anything like that ever.
rolling.
Download to listen to my radio app. That's LISTEN, the number 2, my radio. Put Ritual Madness Podcast in the search bar. Download that shit. Keep it fucking bookmark and all that other shit. Amazon link. Click that Amazon. Bookmark it as your own every time you buy something from Amazon. It helps us keep this shit going, so make sure you do that. If you're in a band or have friends that are in bands, Ritual Madness Podcast at Gmail. Send them shits. We'll put it on the station. We'll be playing some of your tunes in no time. Thank you very much. Oh, forgot to tell you about this. January 28th, monthly madness at Lee's Liquor Lounge. Let me see here. Beast Face, Day Zero, Hate Beast, Koboloi. Again, January 28th. $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 PBRs, tall boys and shit. Lee's Liquor Lounge. Get over there, check out some medals and shit, and we'll see you on the 20th and shit. Peace out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast.